So anyway, yeah, so that's why I can't go to church anymore. But anyway, less of that. People, you're listening to a podcast. Look at you. Look at you all. Watching, listen to you all. I don't know. Look and listen to you. Listening to a goddamn podcast. And this is the goddamn Year of Shame, Year 10. My name's Matthew Moore, and I am joined here by three gentlemen. That's the least I could give you. Gentlemen. Neale, Jarrett, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Dave Southall, say
Hi.
hello.
Hello, everyone.
Cooper, say hello.
Who do you think you are? Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining us all here. The current date, according to my watch, is the 9th of November. We've had spooky season. We've had fireworks. Facebook was fantastic because every single year people forget fireworks happen and they have dogs, and bless them. But come on, remember last year when it happened? Sort it out.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here. Year of Shame. We can start off, I think, with some apologies. It legit feels like we lost a month, gents.
It absolutely does. Like, we totally lost track of time with real life activities, it feels.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been since I've seen your face.
Absolutely no excuse,
Crackers.
Everyone. Sorry, it's been a while.
No.
I'm glad we've just had...
Dave's taking this very to heart, and I'm glad that somebody is.
Yeah, sorry, lads. Sorry we didn't sit down for 3 hours and give you some free content and entertainment.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads.
Well, entertainment's a bit of a strong word there, Joe.
Yeah.
I feel more apologetic for the
we're a
months we
gap
have
filler.
done.
Yeah. Are we contractually obliged to do 12 episodes? Because if we are, we've got to get our skates on.
No, we can count the blah blahs. They count.
Ah, yes! Yes! I knew that was a good idea. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Covered ass.
I'm just glad that we've had this little intro round because I forgot what at least a couple of your names were.
Yeah.
And just a reminder,
Mr. Cooper.
it's been so long since we recorded a podcast that Cyberpunk 2077 now works, and Halo Infinite is now a co-op game.
Yeah.
Bring you the hot takes, the hot exclusives. To be fair, if it weren't for Dave, I wouldn't get any gaming news whatsoever or recommendations. I'm a little bit of a hermit. We'll speak later about sort of like what we've been playing, what we're up to, all of that sort of good stuff, which happens here on the Year of Shame podcast. Before we go any further into the weeds, let's have a little bit of a catch up with everybody. And I'm going to go first because I'm on fire by all accounts. I've been all right. I've been busy with work. I went away to Devon of all places. I spent like four days, 4 nights in a single Travelodge, like proper working. I've not missed the staying overnight for work. I don't know what your work's like respectively, but like mine don't really pull. Like you're booking ibises, you're booking Travelodges, you're booking the basics. Has anyone beat me on that? You guys got any better? No,
it's the same.
Pretty much the same. I think for my particular company, I think, was it last year, beginning of this year? Oh, it's the one at the beginning of this year where we talked about when NHS beat us an award. Yeah. I think they did put us up in quite a nice hotel then, but that must have been a mistake. Because other than that, it is the bare bones, stains on the ceiling kind of establishment.
Well, when we get to talk about what we've been playing, I went to a pier promenade. A pier, I think is the one that goes into the water.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pier, does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So you guys start having a think about what I might have played on a pier in them kind of arcades, and we'll see how right you were when we get to that section.
Do you know, that's where my whole gaming loving started, was in Devon. We used to stop at a place called Dawlish, and they had a little arcade, and that is where it all began.
I thought you were going to say there was a pier in Wolverhampton somewhere. When you were a kid,
Quite very, very long pier.
Yeah, like extremely long to North Wales.
Most people in Wolverhampton don't even know what the sea is, let alone have ever visited it.
Who am that big bath? Who am that big bath? I think that's what you say when you say it.
Oh, my word. All right, let's go around the room. Let's go around as I introduced. I think I started with yourself, Neale. How's your month and change been?
Oh, it's been all right, thank you very much. same as most people, just extremely busy, trying to get that work-life balance between work, missus stuff, family stuff, and playing some video games as much as possible, to be honest with you. I am a bit of a, probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I have been trying to sneak some gaming time in while I've been technically at work over the last couple of weeks, which has been quite fun to try and do. But other than that, yeah, I'm good, to be honest with you, mate. I'm now trying to batten down the hatches and just get Christmas done. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I try and put my head in the sand a little bit for Christmas. Yeah. My wife absolutely loves it, and now that bonfire night's done, what's next on the massive social calendar of misspent plastic and crap? Christmas.
Panini World Cup stickers.
Yeah. Oh no, let's not get started on the World Cup. But other than that, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much. I've actually played some video games, which is quite nice to be able to talk about. I suppose this long break between podcasts that are giving me opportunity to talk a bit more. But the thing is also as well, I'm probably going to remember a lot more of this podcast, probably, because this is a bit of a confession. This is the first podcast I've ever recorded where I've not had any alcohol, and I won't be having any alcohol throughout it. I'm flabbergasted by myself. I don't know whether I'm going to be twice as boring, twice as whiny, or what. I ain't got a clue. It's a complete unknown for me. So I'm
glad it's been documented.
Let me know. Let me know how bad it is. But other than that, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for asking.
Jolly good. Dave Southall, you got any massive peers over there?
No peers, nothing. There's no arcades. It's just, a scene of... I'm not going to mention that. It's just been a pretty normal time again. Nothing good, nothing bad. So I'm happy, just doing the same. Very busy at work, all the same things. All good, thanks.
Some bobs.
Tremendous. Mr. Coops, Joe Cooper.
So I have been involved in a pier. We went to Aberystwyth Comedy Fest, a couple of lads. It's like a very, 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 very small version of Edinburgh Comedy Festival in Wales with fewer people. But Aberystwyth Pier, lovely pier, with all this sort of old school arcade stuff on there. But that was great. Loads of like small rooms and things. So you've got to see quite a lot of Mark Watson, Tom, someone else. But Mark Watson, but he's in such a small place that like you just have a chat and a drink with him at the start.
Nice.
And yeah, there's a few. There was loads with quite a lot of new comics as well I'd not heard of before. But we also saw Kiri Pritchard McLean, I'd seen before. She's very good. James Acaster, who's quite a big name, I think. He's doing well for himself, isn't he? But that was in Aberystwyth University. It's a really good experience. But seeing all those like comics in small, so some of them are in like tiny little pubs where there's like 12 people in there, and it's first thing in the morning, being midday, but first thing in the comedy morning. I also think I nearly started this Welsh nationalist movement at one stage by just starting singing
by being Welsh.
O'Heed down the streets, which is a sort of it's a footy song as well, but it's a Welsh national. And the thing is, I might have had a beer or two. I might have had a chat with some lads on the pier about the Welsh's right to self-govern. Full disclosure, I am Welsh. And then just thought, after having a few beers, I'd sort of join in sing O'Heed. That I could hear it 5 minutes later in a massive chorus moving its way down the streets towards the sea.
Revolution there, mate. Look, do you reckon it's still going? It's still going around Wales?
Quite possibly.
Like a vocal Mexican wave, a Welsh wave.
Welsh wave, yeah. Wavio. I've been learning a bit of Welsh as well on, I don't know if this counts as gaming, but on Duolingo, which kind of gamifies the whole learning a language thing. That's been quite good.
Yeah, you score points. You've got like scoreboards. Yeah, there you go.
Does that mean that's my Joker? Because I haven't paid for it.
Yay!
Other than that, like it's been really busy. Really busy.
Yeah. You have to pay. You do have to pay for Duplo, don't you?
No, it's free. You can get Duolingo Plus. I've got a trial of it, but I haven't paid anything.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So I guess that counts as being allowed, I suppose.
And is the Welsh language taking? Are you actually picking it up?
I was saying to a mate actually. So as I mentioned before, I'm Welsh, but I almost think not that Welsh. I'm just over the border into Wales. But like I've lived in Wales most of my life. I went to the Welsh school system, and you have to learn Welsh in Wales. It's a big thing, and picked up none of it. Didn't do it at GCSE. I reckon I've got more Welsh from a month of this, and obviously I'm reminded of stuff I've known before. And you can. My partner's doing it at the same time. She's not from Wales. She's from Widnes, which is not in Wales. It's in England, and she is struggling with some of the pronunciation, but because I learned it in primary school, I can do the and the sounds, and it's fine. But no, it's good. It's definitely motivational. So if you want to keep your streak going, you want to play the game. It's quite cool. It's quite good.
So when you get to a certain level 100, is that when you get your Welsh dragon tattooed on your chest?
I've already got that, mate.
Oh, there you go.
It's a lot of stuff about leaks. One of the things is, do we Cliff Kennan? I am counting leaks. There's a lot of sort of that almost tongue-in-cheek humour to it as well. Like, you start off introducing yourself to a dragon. So it's quite good. What a dad.
What are you learning on... what did you say you were learning on Duolingo?
Welsh.
All right. I thought you were trying to complete the Japanese dictionary on your DS still.
So that's around as well. That's a thing too, yeah.
Outstanding. Right, let's keep this party going. I can feel a good rhythm to this, people. What have we been playing? We can do it. What have we been playing? I like the fact that Dave did a bit of homework here, and he categorised that. I like it. It's like, what have you completed? What you dabbled with? What's your retros and specials? And what's your evergreens? Like you always go tos. And I looked at that and I thought, it's a good job that I don't really do a regular gaming podcast because I don't know if I've done anything. I had to dig into the old memory banks. I'm glad it's been a month and a bit because, like, I think I have. So I have got a couple of games I can wax lyrical about. But why don't we reverse order right now? Well, that's Joe, yourself first. What have you been playing? You weren't expecting that, was he?
No.
Has he lost sound?
He doesn't know you talk. He doesn't know you're talking to him either.
I might be the wrong person to pick here, as suddenly my Zoom has gone crazy. So pick someone else, and we might have to come back to me.
We'll come back to Joe.
Okay, I'll go because what you've been playing for Dave is. I don't think we can get into that. We've not had enough beers, have we, Dave?
No, you need to brace yourself. No, it's not too bad. It's not. And besides, we can always switch it to fast forward mode.
Yeah, we can just put up the cadence, the volt, the kind of the speed just on your bit. Oh, imagine if you could do that in the edit. I'm sure Matthew can do that in the edit. Okay, I'll show you I'll kind of go through what I've been playing, and I'll let you, like Matt says, Dave's done a lot of kind of the organising for us this week. So I've completed nothing. I never complete anything. That's why I'm on this fucking podcast. Excuse my language. What have I dabbled in progress? So I have, let me think. So the best one I've gone into, I was watching a fellow Midlife Gamer community manager play the last couple of levels of Elden Ring about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, something like that, which reminded me that was my Joker, reminded me that I'm halfway through and I put it down to play something else. And also reminded me how good that game is. So I picked that back up again. And by shit, that's hard to pick up again once you've had a couple of a week or 2 month off. It's really hard. Really, like, talk about forgetting the keys. You forget everything.
It just going back to something that you said there when you were on with the community manager in question. He was getting super frustrated on the end boss, and I was on the stream, and he summoned someone. I said, "Do you want me to jump in and summon you?" I thought, "Oh, here I am, Billy Big Bollocks, who's done this." No,
I'll sort it out.
Hadn't played it till March. Couldn't even remember the controls. I was atrocious.
I wasn't, because you played that. I started watching that stream when he finally finished off everything. I'm not going to name bosses' names for spoiler reasons. I started watching him at about 10:15 at night, and I turned off at midnight. And then I found out the next day he played till 2:30 in the morning. So he was attempting the same bosses for over 4 hours, and I watched the recording, Dave, and I slipped through his Twitch recording of when you jumped in to help him. And with Twitch recordings, you could see the actual text coming down the side. And it was just really funny to see your character run round trying to help poor old Matt out, and then you just apologising profusely down the side like, oh my God, I'm super balls at this game. It was really funny. I laughed quite a lot the next day. But seeing, he was getting super stressed, wasn't he? Really stressed at it, really kind of angst about it. I think he'd put all his eggs in one basket to finish that night.
I think that's the most I've ever seen a human swear in one go.
Yeah. You know, when you see those videos of people that are just like chucking controllers down and stuff like that, he was close to breaking something. But in seeing, regardless of all that frustration, it did remind me of how good the game is and why I chose it as my Joker in the first place. So I've gone back to it. I've tried to pick up, and obviously it's impossible, kind of, not an impossible story to follow, but it's a really difficult story to kind of maintain and kind of crack and kind of open up in front of you. But I've had to go back a few sections and replay some of the bits that that I've gone through previously. And because I found that as soon as I jumped in, came across the first boss, died 10 times. And I was like, right, I'm either in the wrong place or I just, So I've gone back a couple of stages or two on that one. Don't ever think that I will. There's no way that I'll finish it this year whilst I'm on the Year of Shame. But it is a kind of a goal of mine to make sure I get that done. Next game I've been playing is I'm still trying to go through the Mass Effect trilogy. I have taken a little bit of a break from it because another particular game has kind of overtaken absolutely everything, and I'll go into those two games in a minute. So I have played about an hour or two of Mass Effect 2 this month, and it's because it's the Legendary Edition, it's got all the DLC. I know I spoke about this previously. It's just really good that everything's there, and you've got the opportunity to really kind of make yourself overpowered playing the main core mission, doing all the side missions first and really kind of leveling up your abilities and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying that at the moment, and the story is just fantastic. And I'm not sure how many Mass Effect fans are out there. I know that previous host Stu is a good Mass Effect fan, but it was N7 Day this week, which is kind of BioWare's kind of little kind of yearly reminder that they're still there and they made that game. And they did a nice little teaser video for the next installment of Mass Effect, which was quite exciting. The other two things quite quickly that I've been playing, and I think we'll probably cover these off in another section, Dave, actually, is I've been playing some multiplayer nights, playing some Overwatch 2, because it's free. And is it called Chivalry 2 as well,
Chivalry
Dave?
2, yeah.
Yeah, we played a bit of that as well, but we'll come across those later on. The two main games I've been playing this month, or since the last recording, is the reason why I put Elden Ring down was Destiny 2. A new season started. I'm not sure if you guys know kind of how expansions and seasons work. Pretty much the same as the seasons work in most games like Fortnite and Call of Duty and stuff like that. There was a brand new one started, kind of quite fun to play, piqued my interest, and I just played a lot of it. And I think it's fair to say I want to thank two of my friends and two of the kind of community members of Midlife Gamer as well, that after listening to the last recording where a little violin came out about me not completing anything and not having any friends online, I've actually done a couple of dungeons with me, and have made the promise to kind of, when available, to kind of go through and do some of the raids and stuff like that, which the dungeons were amazing, by the way. Fantastic little setup of how they do it. Really complex puzzles and stuff like that, but really fun to do. So Destiny's really pulled me back in, and that's something now that I'm going to try and shelve until next year. The other game that I've been playing, and this one is a bit left field, is I think it was beginning of October, there was some DLC, free DLC came out for Fallout 76 called The Pit. Mm. Now, The Pit was initial DLC for Fallout 3. And oh my God, I could talk for hours about my love for Fallout 3. And for whatever reason, it kind of earwormed me a little bit. So I loaded it. I reinstalled the game from previously uninstalling because it's about 100 gig. Started a new character, and I've put probably about 75 hours in this month. Like really jump back into it again. Played a lot of it. It's still really busy world. I mean, obviously it's being plagued and dogged by bad reviews and kind of crossed opinions about whether it's a good game or not. But if you're a Fallout fan, it's fantastic. So I've played a lot of that, guys. I think if I've learned anything this year is I play too many chuffing games that are a service because they just suck up all your time.
Yeah,
I need to, that's one thing I need to get out of this year, and this is what it's taught me. I play too many games that
don't have
their
an
sole purpose is their sole purpose is just to keep you there.
I've made quite a point of doing that this year because that's what I've always done: a Destiny, Sea of Thieves, etc. Can I just ask
I need to break that
what
mold.
are you playing Fallout 76 on?
On my PC.
Oh, right. Because I got a copy of Fallout 76 with my Xbox One. my Scorpio. Yeah. And I've never played it still, apart from about 5 minutes to run through the intro. I was just wondered if it worked any better now.
Yeah, it's loads better now in terms of stability, in terms of content. Because obviously when it was first released 2 years ago now or whatever, there was no human NCPs in it. It was all audio tapes and robots basically. And now that they're back,
would you recommend that? Would it play good as like a group co-op game? Like a once
a
week
absolutely.
type thing? Right.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, as long as you're not too drunk, because it throws missions at you. Yeah. It throws main story quests, loads of side quests. You can be walking through an area of the map, and there is like an event takes place that is for you can go in solo or go in as a crowd. I played a lot of it when it first came out with Derek, Greg Giddens, and Phil Bonner. We played a lot together. Phil went on to play hundreds of hours of it. And definitely something that you could pick up, mate, and run with friends.
Good.
Absolutely. And it's because the thing is that I think that even though you're in the same shared world, I think if when you go to kind of lock boxes and kind of things where you pick up loot from, it's not shared. It's just yours. I think so. It's quite good that when you're running around together, you're still able to pick stuff up. It's not the first person into a room just gathers everything, which I've always really disliked in multiplayer games like that.
Dave, how many times have you done Need or Greed?
Oh, a very lot. Good old MMOs.
Do you remember when even in WoW days, like you'd get to the end of something and you'd all be able to inspect the chest, and at any point anybody could just take it, but you would inspect each other and sit there and use the chat function /roll, and whoever gets the highest number, they get it. But you all Need or Greed. Do I need it? As in, like, it's a couple of poison daggers, I'm a rogue, that's gangster for me.
Right.
I'll greed it. And if everybody else greeds it, then you roll for greed, and some lucky bastard gets to sell it.
That sounds cutthroat.
It was.
So we could do a proper
Leroy
Jenkins.
Lots and lots of... Because don't forget, like I'm just going on an MMO rant here.
No, go for it.
In the old days of... I'm going to mention another MMO in one of the questions, actually. In the old days of like EverQuest and Ultima Online, things weren't instanced, like things are now. Like your group gets their instance of a dungeon and so on. Well, in the old days, the raids weren't like that. Like a creature, like a dragon, used to spawn, say, once every 10 days or once a week. And it was the first to get all the mates there. But anyone could just ninja the loot either as well at any time. And it was absolute server politics. It was amazing. Amazing times.
I'd love to be able to watch stuff like that, but not take part. I'd get too passionate.
That's why I can't play MMOs anymore. I've talked about this. I got totally into it. So it would be like phoning lots of places around the world at 3 o'clock in the morning because, oh my God, a dragon Trachanon spawned.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, so that's me. So I'm going to try and kind of get through the rest of those bits and bobs. I think the only other section I've got here is you've got a retro section, Dave, which quite rightly so is I've mentioned it on a previous podcast, but I think from something you mentioned a couple of months ago, I did reinstall Geometry Wars 2 again, and I'm still trying to beat some of those top scores on there.
Class.
I need to give it a bit more time. I think I want to get. I think I've mentioned it before, and forgive me if I have. Sorry if I'm boring, but I drink a lot and I forget, and I'm not drinking, so I can't remember if I can't forget. Epic Tone Dog has got a score on one of the leaderboards that I really want to beat, and I need to fucking beat him at it. Yeah, I just need to, and then I've not spoken to him directly in months, and I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna take a screenshot, and I'm gonna send it to him and go, right, how about them apples?
Excellent.
I don't know what it is. It's just ignited a fire in me. So yeah, that's me.
I might start practicing on that and then just pick
up
at Neale.
I've got it installed as well. I'm going to be going on there again and checking out. I need to get rid of the Midlife Gamer account because that's got some ones that Fizzy did like 10 years ago, and they're not real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Get it. Have a look on there. I can't remember which game mode it is where toned on it. I'll have a look after we've recorded or after we press stop. But yeah, I just want to beat it so bad.
Isn't the music good on that game?
Oh, mate, I think it is as well. But and
it's awesome.
Not showing off anything like that. Is I've got like because I'm playing it through my speakers and stuff like that, and I've got like a light set up around my monitor and stuff like that that's kind of tracks motion on my monitor.
Ooh.
So on it, it's sexy as frig. When I'm playing it. So yeah, no, it is good. But the music is.
I want to play that. Yeah. I want to play Tempest 2000, 4000.
Dude, you mentioned it. I only just spotted your T-shirt as a Tempest T-shirt.
Yeah.
Best mates with the main man, isn't he?
No.
Yeah. That's it. That's me done. That's me spent. That's what I've been playing. We'll move on. Should we go back to Joe?
I think I've got a more stable connection now. It's telling me I was unstable.
Why don't we have a couple of questions before we get back to Joe?
Oh,
Since
well,
we've got an absolute abundance of them this month.
Yeah,
Neale has written things down on pen and paper.
Neale's got an actual notebook.
Yeah, I've got old school. My keyboard's really noisy, so if me kind of going around and typing extra notes while we're going through and stuff like that would piss everybody off. Yeah, I spent a good half an hour because there's that many chuffing questions. I finished my job today, had tea, had to come back to a second job, which is getting prepared for this podcast.
You know I'm not marking your homework, right?
Oh. Okay, no problem. Yeah, let's jump into some questions. Who wants to read them out?
Joe.
Go on, Joe.
Is it just in order? Do we want them? I'm going to go with this one, in fact, actually. Is there a game that passed you by that when going through the pile of shame, it surprised you how good it really was and you wish you'd played it sooner? So a game that sort of didn't think much of, it's in your pile of shame, you've put it on and you loved it.
I'm going to pull one. This is one off my completed list now. But I finally got round to playing Grim Fandango after 25 years. After owning it for 25 years on the old Amiga floppies. And it's ropey as hell now. But it was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And now I see why it's regarded as a classic. I really wish I'd played it all those years ago.
For me, I thought about this. It's not a very good answer, but it's the best answer I can give because I've not really completed anything or really delved deep into my pile. I've not really kind of compiled a pile. But I have started this year for the first time playing Fortnite, and I've always avoided it previously. And I think it was the introduction of the new build mode that came out a couple of months back that kind of opened the gateway of playing it and not being afraid of being absolutely owned. So I think, a game that's passed me by that I wish I played sooner. Yeah, Fortnite for me. Shit answer, but it's the best one I can give you.
I like it. I've seen people doing the building while shooting, and I can't do that. 12-year-olds will have me all day long.
Yeah, you need 3 hands.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know, like in Lego games where you build a pile of Lego things and it makes a thing that helps you on the way.
Yeah.
That's what children
But you're just
look
pushing
like
one button
playing
down.
Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah. But to do that in Lego games, you just push one button and keep it down. Those guys are doing bumpers and all. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Joe or Matt, go.
Well, I've got one, but I'm going to talk about it later. So I'm going to tease it there, and we'll go back to Matt.
Oof. I mean, you shaming rules on that, and me don't really gel this year.
Don't really mix.
No.
We're not mixing.
But I mean, I know that
we're not good friends.
So for me, I guess it was. Okay, help me out here, people. Guys did Max Payne. They did the one with the woman in the bureau.
Control.
Control is a great example of a game that I wanted to play and I couldn't because I didn't have the capability. I tried it on my PC remember when I was paying for like 2 or 3 Xbox game subscriptions, like before Joe like taught me to use graph paper. I finally got that Xbox Series S and I was able to go back to those games that I really wanted to play. So I think that's the last one that I remember being so happy to be able to revisit.
Cool. Excellent. Another question?
Yeah, we got enough. Let's do another one. Go on, Neil. You read one out. You pick one.
Okay, so this is a question from Kev Atkinson. It says, really enjoyed watching Forged in Fire lately. I'm assuming that's a TV program. So my question is this. If you could forge a knife or a sword from any game, what would it be?
So I found a site that does this. So I found it's called the Raven Forge, and they have like a bunch of weapons from different games that you can just buy. So you can get the Master Sword. It's made of metal, and you can get they've even got the Sword of Omens actually, which is like the one that would be the best. It is from a computer game, isn't it? Because there's an Amstrad CPC version.
Yeah,
of
there's a Spectrum Thundercats
it's really
game.
hard. Like it was one of the hardest games I've ever played. You've got to jump. It's hard to jump over a hole in the floor. I mean, I remember spending weeks on it as a kid in green because I had a green monitor only. But the Sword of Omens would be a great one to have. But they've actually got, if you go to Ravenforge, they've got all sorts of things like the Witcher's swords, and they've got Mjolnir, but I think and they've got the God of War Leviathan axe with sort of runes engraved into it, but not like plastic ones, but of metal and wood.
Can we receive a discount with your special code on this?
I certainly hope so.
They're very expensive.
You sent the link through.
Website. It's extremely expensive.
Yeah, Joe sent the link through of that, and I literally had to click off within seconds because I could feel money seeping out of my bank account towards the screen.
How much we're talking there for like an Aragon sword on a little plaque?
So
about 300 quid.
So I'm looking through. It looks like I'm in the Lord of the Rings section at the moment for the for a Nazgul Mogul blade sword, £172.
That seems reasonable in this cost of living crisis. It's about that much to get some bread now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you could use it to get some bread if it keeps going this route.
I'm sorry, darling, we can't afford to heat the living room this month because I've bought a sword.
For display over the fire we can't turn on.
Is it weird that I thought like 130 quid for the Sword of Omens is reasonable? I think
I don't think it is, Joe, to be honest. Seems legitimate.
I sent you a picture of my sword. It's a carved version of Longclaw, the Jon Snow's sword. So at least I can burn that, if it comes to the worst.
Yeah. Oh my God, there is some... I mean, I'm not into stuff like this. I mean, I've got like some collection edition. I've got some some gaming tat around, but nothing.
I can see some lovely tat behind you.
Yeah,
actually. I've got some trinkets. And tat.
I've got some good stuff. I mean, some bits. I mean, talking of Lord of the Rings, I've got like a statue of Gollum that's all the way from New Zealand when I was there. So, like, I've got bits, but I'm not the kind of person that would have something that's to display a weapon on the wall. But looking at some of these, wow. Like the Witcher swords. I mean, that's not even my answer to this question, but looking at them, I'm thinking, £200 for a silver Witcher sword.
Bargain.
I mean, shouldn't every household have one?
It's cheaper than a PS5 VR. Isn't it?
Yeah, you could get 3 of them.
So he's buying a house, isn't it?
Yeah. So, did you answer, Joe?
Oh, I think if you're having a sword, it's got to be the Sword of like. I would like to forge one that had the actual properties of the Sword of Omens, so that it could be about that big when you carry it out with you on a night out, and then when someone pisses you off, you've got the full sword with a massive searchlight. Because that would have stopped me and Ross getting lost in Birmingham, wouldn't it?
So also, I mean, you can...
Just do Thundercats Ho and all the midlife gamers up here.
Oh my god, yeah, £143. I've just found it. When you said the Sword of Omens, my middle name should be naive. I had no idea what you were talking about. But then when I saw the Thundercats insignia on the hilt, as it were, that's quite nice. It comes with a nice wooden little stand. Joe, I think you should treat yourself for Christmas.
Well, it's a big birthday coming up 2 days after Christmas as well.
Ooh.
So maybe
combine.
There might be a sword. Yeah.
Combine.
You see the pizza axes they've got there? I do actually own a pizza axe now because I got one on offer. So an axe for chopping pizzas.
Class.
Fantastic.
Pizza. Oh my god! Yeah. Oh my god! I actually might get one of those. They're cool.
Any money saved in the year of shame is about to just evaporate from everyone's accounts.
I wouldn't get one of those because normally pizza means you're having beer, and I just know that it'd be goodbye toes if I bought a pizza axe.
You'd just be moving the pizza, adjusting it on the plate, and then slice over. Yeah, but one of them's in the original pizza axe is in clearance. It's only £60, down from 75.
No, I'll keep £60 on toes.
Yeah. And what sword or knife? I can't remember what the question was now. For you then, Dave, what would you like from a video game?
Again, this is the second time I've talked about EverQuest tonight. I would have. It was just. You used to have epic quests to get weapons in that, and they really were epic quests. It involved many, many people all doing multiple raids, multiple steps of the quest. It took weeks and weeks. It really was a definition of epic. And I played a bard character, and they had a sword called the Singing Short Sword. And all it was is just a normal short sword with blue notes that used to fly around it. And, but it's the thought of what went into doing that. So that will always be the most important weapon I've ever had in a game. So I'd like that.
Nice.
Fucking nerds. I'm going to go into something that Joe's going to speak about later, but because I always figured the Master Sword, because you could probably flog it on because Master Sword, Zelda, I assume they go together and everyone loves it. But that sword in Transistor is pretty fucking gangster, isn't it, Joe?
It is good. It is cool. Yeah, I'd forgotten about it. Just while people were talking, then that did come back to me. That would be quite a cool one as well. It's a big one though. Take a lot of metal.
It's £77. Matt.
Where's
the Master Sword?
The Master Sword.
It's £77 for the Transistor sword. I'm in.
So
the Master Sword seems like a bargain, but I think it's only about that big. Yeah. It's only about 90 centimetres long, isn't it?
And what kind of damage can you do with 90 centimetres? I mean, I might be able to stab a guy, but I want to go all the way through to come out the back, surely. For me, I had to think about this, and I wasn't sure because my memory fails me for historical kind of things. So I think the only thing I could think of really is some of the swords that are in Destiny. And there's an exotic Destiny sword that's called in Destiny 2 called the Lament, and it's a massive, huge, deadly slab of circuitry. It looks like a computer motherboard, but it could chop you in half, basically. And it looks sexy as hell. And I think if I was going to do it and I was going to pay the money, I'd want it to light up and stuff like that as well. So that'd be me.
Speaking of lighting up.
There you go. That's my answer. So,
there's a side one of those, a side business of the Raven Forge called Raven Sabers. I am not on commission, by the way, but they sell lightsabers that you can fight with that light up, and they've got all the VFX, but they've got... No, I'm going to let someone else talk about something that isn't light up swords.
Combat? Oh my god. Okay, fair enough. Let's
let's get moving on.
Next question.
This feels like a rabbit hole. Let's leave the questions to the moment and go back round to what we're up to, what I've been playing.
Yes,
I'll jump in, I guess. So I was looking at the categories that Dave was kind enough to put in, and I was like, okay, what have I completed? I've not completed anything. It felt like I was maybe halfway through the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and I just didn't find the time again and didn't go back to it. And did you finish it, Dave? Is it worth the investment?
No, I'm not finished. I've not gone back to it since we spoke about it.
All right, so
I definitely will, but
yeah, maybe I should try that one again. So that's not been completed at all. Dabbled in progress. I mean, I did my usual thing of taking a look on Game Pass and being like, kiss my ass, I ain't paying for that. I'm not really paying for this, so I'll just download it anyway. Like, I had a go at Deathloop was on there, and I was like, do you know what? I don't know why, but I never got into, is it Brink? Not Brink. What were they with the games? Dishonored. I never got Dishonored or the second one, so I've never quite got their shtick and their style of first-person shooter with traversal and magical abilities and what have you. So I kind of went in. I probably went in it with the wrong mindset, to be fair, and tried rushing through the quite involved and story-heavy opening, waiting for a moment for me to go, hey, I've got it, but without the true investment. So I was like, maybe one day I'll come back to that. And I did a similar thing with, and someone's going to have to help me out now. It's a first-person shooter rhythm game. And it sounds like Doom. Metal Hellsinger. And that actually weren't too shabby. I actually quite like that. But I have an issue sometimes with getting calibration right. Like, you have to calibrate. Like, we all remember with the Guitar Heroes and the rock bands, you have to calibrate against the visual, you have to calibrate against the audio. And sometimes you would, if it weren't right, it didn't gel. And you would sometimes, like, there was times when I was deep into, like, Guitar Hero and Rock Band where you could go and Google your system and your television and your connection type, and they would recommend the best manual calibration settings to get the best out of it. So there's an investment to get it right, because getting it right makes it work and it makes it feel fantastic. So I don't think I maybe put in some of that legwork that was needed. And it seemed relatively, like straightforward. It was good at doing its calibration. But I didn't go back to it, which is a shame, because I love what it's getting at. I love the music of Doom, from Doom through to the more recent Dooms where they've doubled down on the Doom.
Yeah,
that music and that visual just ties together so well. And there were a few times where I think I was accidentally in time, and it felt awesome.
Excellent.
I really like the look of that.
Yeah, I'd like to see you stream that. But then again, Dave, I'd like to see you stream most of your existence.
It's boring. I'm sat here for 90% of it.
So a retro section. So I mentioned earlier I went to a pier. You can all see it on the shared show notes. But we went there. I was there with three work colleagues. All of us are a similar age, and we did some of the throwing the hoops, the basketballs into a hoops as quickly as you can. One moves left to right, and then we're strolling through, and it's coin dozers, and there's shooting games,
air hockey,
all that sort of good
stuff.
Go on,
air hockey.
And I thought that there's bound to be one. Of course, there'll be one. Bang! Dance Revolution, baby! Right, who's on? Who's up? Let's go do this. Let's do this. Now, the last time I did DDR in a public setting, which is the only time I ever have, really. I remember buying them, like those little plastic foot mats, plug them into your PS2. You'd be sliding all over the fucking carpet, break your ankle. Right, DDR! Terrible. So using those big old machines, the big clunky metal, the last time I did it before, a couple of weeks ago, I do remember overexerting myself because I'm old now. Like I put something on hard. I was like, I remember how to do Captain Jack on hard. Oh, Captain Jack! And I was like, a sweaty mess. So I was like, let me find the most J-pop song possible. It took about 3 clicks, and let's just put it on easy. Let's just have a nice little leisurely left, right. Hey, jazz hands. The best. If I had a bar in my house like I was a millionaire, I'd 100% get a 2-player DDR machine set up.
You can get these cheaper. I looked into this as part. I like to dabble at emulation and stuff. There's like a PC version called Stepmania that basically does them all, and you can buy lots of peripherals, mats and things for it now. I actually played a Dance machine. You know, when we all met up in Birmingham and we went to NQ64, me and Mark Monaghan played on the Dance machine there. He's got giant boots on. I'm absolutely drunk as a stick. And so we were pretty appalling, you know. All the drunken guys shouldn't be playing this game, and there was two women watching us behind, and we were quite conscious of this. So when we finished, we got off and we thought, oh, these are going to be brilliant now. They're going to show us how to play. No, they were worse. So I felt better.
Never played
about
one.
that.
Never had a go at one. Too self-conscious. Can't. No.
That's no way to live your life.
I know, mate. I'm wasting it.
Get on it.
I'm wasting it, aren't I? We're too worried about what other people think.
Dance like no one's looking at you, don't they say? Or is it wank? One of the two.
Just one of the, yeah, exactly.
Wank like nobody's watching.
I wank like I have an audience. Sometimes do. Anyway, finally for me, my evergreens,
OnlyFans.
my evergreens and my go-tos. I'm sure I mentioned before, but Solitaire, I still certain else. There's only one way I can usually open Solitaire. It's Start SOL. Does that still work? Yeah. There you go. that's muscle memory from Windows 95, ladies and gentlemen, right there. So I still smash Solitaire in the background, and I'm sure that, and Dave, you may tell me otherwise, but firstly, everyone be glad that I've not paid for the premium element of Windows Solitaire to take away some of the adverts, because for some reason, and someone needs to correct me, why it's not baked into like Games for Windows Live, whatever the hell it's called. That's a very old reference, isn't it? Whatever it's now for Xbox for Windows.
Yeah.
Why Solitaire has been like? Is it part of a different arm of Microsoft? Is it part of the Windows OS team? And they're like, no, Solitaire and Minecraft are ours. You just pay for them. They're not going on your streaming service. You're not doing cloud gaming with Solitaire. You want Solitaire? You buy Microsoft Windows.
Every time I fire up the Xbox app or anything, or the game bar on my PC, you can guarantee Matt's playing Solitaire. It comes up every time. In fact, if I look now, let's just have a quick look.
So let's open it. If you open it up now.
There he is.
Right, I did also dip back into another old favourite. I think I was getting wound up with Solitaire. I was obviously having a losing streak. And I thought, well, what's my next like?
Hey, wound up by Solitaire. Sorry, it's made me laugh. Solitaire was really getting under my skin and pissing me off, so I went to look for something less stressful.
Less stressful than Solitaire.
Well, if such a thing exists, ladies and gentlemen, it's called Peggle.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Boy.
So I did the thing that I've probably done about, I don't know, half a dozen times in my life, which is go like, oh, I remember Peggle. And whatever service is in front of me, it used to be the Xbox, but now I've got it on. I've got it and Peggle Nights on Steam. I think I tried playing Peggle Nights. I was like, no, I haven't got time to learn new characters. I only know the ones from Peggle. So I reinstalled Peggle, and rightfully or wrongfully, it doesn't store, or I've not clicked a button to store my progress and share it with the internet. But I kind of like that. It starts me again every single time. Oh, I've got to do my first 10 missions with Bjorn, is it? Like the thing
With the unicorn.
There you go, the unicorn who shows like. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I fucking love Peggle, me. And honestly, when it lands,
And that Solitaire stress just evaporated.
yeah. As soon as I heard "Ode to
Just
Joy," I
left
thought, "Fuck you, Solitaire."
yeah.
Take your,
Screw you, Microsoft. Oh,
yeah.
let's not say that.
And take your Ginger Stepson Minecraft with you. Get out of my house.
Matt, you ought to try
Cool.
that round guard that I spoke about a few shows away. That could have been 9 months.
Yeah.
It's like a more adventure-y version of Peggle. There's another one as well. I forgot the name of it that came out this year. That's why I started playing that round guard again.
Well, Jeremy, you mentioned a couple of shows ago, which again could have been a year ago, about an idle game where you play a healer, and you saw.
I'll speak. Yeah.
And you saw that I blatantly, there you go, I blatantly spunked about, £4 or £5 on that, however much that was. And you hit me a message, you're like, dude, you're in 70 hours into it. I was like, oh, no, it's just open. It's just opening a window.
I have just this second clicked on your profile to see how long you actually spent on that. 356 hours, Matthew. Could you explain
No wonder
this?
you have no time for video games, Matthew. Bloody
And that's
hell.
not me playing it. That just goes to show how long
know.
it takes me to reboot my computer every now and again.
I like to think that Matt's got every game he's ever owned running simultaneously.
Right now. FTL is right there. Guaranteed. Tab to FTL, Matthew. Tab to it.
This is why he needs help with his bills, because it's 12 grand a month. Because he's
Yeah. He's got
running.
20 fans pointing at his PC just to keep it cool.
My word.
Good going though, mate. You've played some video games. It's good.
By all accounts, I have.
It's good stuff.
By all accounts, I have. Tell you what, before we jump over
Good.
to Joe, let's do another question. I've got one here now.
Good
It's
on you.
Cy Stevens, so it doesn't make a fat lot of sense, but bear with me. So he says on a recent, and that's not a Cy Stevens criticism. This is just I read the question and I thought, what are you on about, Cy? He says on a
me
recent
too.
episode of Taskmaster, little Alex Horn used the measurement of Noel Edmonds, both standing and crouching. What is this madness? Is it because of Brexit? Is it a metric version of DeVito?
A metric DeVito is an Edith Piaf.
Say that again.
A metric DeVito is an Edith Piaf. That's the standardised one. DeVito's an American Imperial unit.
There you go. So it is down to Brexit.
No, it's not Brexit related. Because in the UK you can use DeVito's, Abbott's, or Piaf's.
What about if
It's just
what
traditional.
about if you use a
And then,
Warwick,
well, the equivalent of an
Warwick
Abbott.
Davis?
Pardon?
Is he sort of
Warwick Davis.
0.5 of a DeVito?
I guess that's the British Imperial one. So that's like you get a British pint and an American pint, and then metric for half a litre is an Edith Piaf. It's this really simple system to follow.
I don't know why there's so much confusion.
And then you've got your Abbott, your Costello, I think, is the American version, and Jarrett Depardieu in the metric.
Depardieu. Well, I think that soundly answered that question. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
And thank you, Cy Stevens, for asking. You absolute legend.
I think he's definitely little Alex Horn and must be a fan of the podcast though to get to understand but not quite get what a DeVito is as a measurement. Poor lad. Needs to go back to a couple of more episodes. Should we do another question?
Yeah, go on, Neil.
On a roll.
Let's have a look. Okay, okay. So this question, I think this question was a kind of sub question for somebody else, but this is from Gavin McPherson. It says, here's a question for the podcast. Which of this is the greater number? Is it A, the amount of recorded Year of Shame podcast Dave has done? Or is it B, the amount of time Dave has installed, uninstalled, reinstalled Golf with Friends?
For anyone that doesn't know, this is the one game I truly despise. I don't just dislike it. It makes me want to punch the screen. I hate it. I have rage quit on Friday night. Proper rage quit. I've had enough. I'm going. Turned off. Uninstalled. Deleted the game. Left the party. Finished the night. Just in pure rage. Because I hate this game so much.
That sounds like...
And he's not exaggerating.
That sounds like me.
He's not exaggerating.
Sounds like me waking up in the pool of my own sweat, realising I've downloaded Grindr again.
Well, that's the other consequence. That's if we don't play golf with friends. That's how we end up. So yeah, I think I've probably uninstalled Golf with Friends more than podcasts that we've recorded. So this is the 8th,
absolutely
plus the blahs. Yeah, it's got to be more than that. So yeah, it's the latter.
I'd say definitely. It's definitely not just because the numbers of there's more Fridays than there has been kind of monthly podcast kind of thing. That's not even coming into it. I think I'm surprised every single time we have a gaming session on a Friday night. What should be called Gears and Beers, and somebody suggests Golf with Friends because they just want a chilled out kind of after shooty action. I'm surprised each time, Dave, that you reinstall it when people ask you to.
It's because it's small.
I think I was out last Friday or the Friday before. I think I was out for drinks with friends or what have you, and I saw in the chat thread that somebody had posted a picture of you in Golf and Friends. And I literally had to put my pint down. I couldn't believe it.
I can tell you the exact point as well that it happens. So basically, it's lovely. You're playing a lovely game of golf. You're all having a laugh. You're all helping each other out. And then you get to a point in the game where you get to levels where you need to use the camera. And the camera, you can only fly around for a few seconds. And then you have literally no idea where you're going. And the game will often also completely fuck you off and lock you in a place or something. And when you lose 20 shots if you don't finish the hole. So you can be winning the entire game, and then the game just fucks you over. You don't know where you're going, or you can't get in, and then you're 20 shots behind. And then at that point, that's when the controller gets thrown out the window and along with the toys. So yeah, thanks for bringing back those bad memories again, Gav. I was nice and chilled.
Is it currently installed, uninstalled? What's the current status?
It's uninstalled. It's so uninstalled. I have now hid it from my games list, and it won't let me install it again.
Was that based on last Friday? Actually, last Friday, I think we tried to give it another go.
It's the culmination. I've tipped over the edge now.
Yeah. Like I say, when I was out in the bar and I saw it, and I think I replied with the Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
because I was just like, the kid running away from the camera, because I was just like, what are you doing, you crazy man?
Never again.
There you go. So that's a couple more questions done. Right, Joe, I've not heard your lovely voice for a little while. Do you want to tell us what you've been playing, mate?
Yeah, I can't really remember when we did our last podcasts. I got a few games that I can't remember if I've already talked about when I've played them. So I've got quite a few. But after the last podcast, I think I had a bit of a chat with Dave about some of the goals that I'd had for the podcast and whether they were really playing out the way that they were supposed to. And that, like, the challenge I'd got of finishing all Ali's games, while I still think it might be a good thing to do, it's not as much doing it within a year and with this time frame. It's not giving me the sort of what I was looking for. I was looking for that kind of connection, and I'm getting more connection. Look, I really enjoyed that day of getting his PlayStation up and working and playing through and having a look at his old games and where he was up to. That was great, and really appreciate the help Dave gave me with giving me the instructions of making the PlayStation make less noise and all of that, and giving it a quick clean out, and him shipping me a copy of The Witcher that I could play through, so I could actually open his save file, see where he's up to. But after that, sort of running around in his version of The Witcher as him wasn't really as much fun as just playing The Witcher myself. I kind of thought that there's not that... Okay, you customise your character, but you're kind of jumping into a half-finished story there. There's a bit of like... And with The Witcher, I could carry it off because I played it myself. But I think I'll have more fun thinking about his enthusiasm for the game while playing like the DLCs and my own game. And I might come back and, after doing that, finish through his. It's the same thing with God of War. I mean, I think the podcast might have got some good value out of me quantum leaping into the God of War, basically. And without Al's assistance. Who's this weird guy with the arrows? Who's this weird boy? What am I doing? What's happening?
Oh boy!
And then, oh boy, yeah. But I have started up God of War on from the beginning, got through the boring bit, had a couple of fights, and like, oh my god, he was right. This is an amazing game. This is brilliant. And then I've reined myself in because I've gone. There's about 20 games now on my sort of ADHD gaming list that I've started and gone, no, I'll do something, no, I'll do something. And it's really losing my rhythm because the way I normally play a game is completely one at a time. And it's a new game. And I suppose the Year of Shame stops that because you've not got a new game and that shiny new toy to play with and all of that. I don't like spreadsheets and I don't like to-do lists for gaming. I like them when it does my head in a little bit. It's not, and I know and I'm not saying that I'm doing it the right way. I don't think I am. I think other people get their fun out of different things, and it's just not for me. It makes playing the game about. So I've had a couple of times where it's been about doing it for the podcast, or I've picked up a game and gone, I better do this. The boys will want to know what I've done on this game, and I've got to finish it off, and it sucked a bit of the fun out of it. So the game that I've played the most this last month or so, it's got nothing to do with anything. Wasn't planned. went into the attic, was looking through some old stuff, found an old Nintendo 3DS with an old version of Pokemon Ultra Moon, which I bought it on eBay, the two together. I wasn't really thinking that much about playing it. And it's properly got under my skin. And this is the one that surprised me because it's just brilliant fun. It's silly. No one's waiting for me to finish. The servers are all down as well, so you can't really play it online anymore. So you're sort of on your own playing it on a little... And it's on a little device that I can just open up, play 10 minutes and close down, or open up, play for 2 hours, the battery starts blinking and I have to plug it back in again. And both of those things are happening. And it's a really cool... I suppose it might even be my favourite Pokemon game that I've played. And I've played some of the more modern ones. So I played the ones on the Switch, where they've got a bit more of open world and stuff. And this is kind of the transition between the old Game Boy games where it's completely 2D, so it's got a bit of 3D and you're running around. And it's set in Hawaii. And you've got Hawaiian versions of Pokemon. So there's a Hawaiian Pikachu. Well, it's a Hawaiian Raichu, what Pikachu turns into. But it's structured totally different to all the other games are formulaic, and it feels like they've gone. There was a formula back in the day. And so all the games follow this formula. Go around this Japanesey place. Go to some gyms. Fight the gym leader. Fight the Elite Four, and that's it. And probably the first 3 games are like that. And the last 3 games that I've played have been really formula. I know I've not played the Arceus one because it came out sort of during this, and it was one that I was thinking about. But this one's like, oh, you're on a little island off the coast of Pokemon Hawaii. Right, you've got to go and see the tribal leader. I'm like, this is weird, this is different. And so it's got like a different flavour running through it. And there's these like guardian, like god Pokemon mucking about. But there's all sorts of other weird bits going on. It just seems, and it's fun. And it's daft. And you're still having the little fights, but it's, I don't know, it's got something about it where they've changed a few things, kept a few things the same, and it's just been... I've been having a right old riot walking around, and it's not as predictable. The newer games rebuild on that retro thing, I think, as well. And this doesn't. This is like as far as it got before it started thinking about itself and being a bit more retro. It was not what I was expecting, basically. It's really... I've just really enjoyed it.
How are you charging a 3DS in 2022? Is it a proprietary cable or is it a USB thing? I've got no idea.
It is a proprietary one. So it's just, and a 3DS has got one that's different to the normal Nintendo ones that I could find in the attic. So it was an eBay job of pay £6 for a little USB
so
cable.
When you originally bought it off eBay, the machine in that game, did it come with a charger?
So it didn't come with the official charger. I think it came with like a little white USB cable that I've lost. So it's a USB to but it's quite annoying in that it's different to all the other chargers for all the other Game Boys and everything else. But it was about £6, so I can live with that. Does that count as buying hardware, buying a charger for something to get it to play? It doesn't because it's broken anyway. It was missing anyway. But honestly, that's been... So, because it's like on the couch. So
can I ask a silly question? When it comes to, I kind of get it. When it comes to the combat, which I think is what you're conducting as Ash or as like the human character,
as Joe.
When it comes to that, is it Final Fantasy turn-based combat, like elemental stuff, attack, defend, item?
Pretty much, yeah. It's there's no so you've got a defense built in. You can use an attack that puts up a shield or something. It's like a very basic version of that with some really... Like, it's not basic if you get into it. If you want to play against other human beings, my God, it's deep and complicated, and there's Reddit forums about how to breed a Pokemon that will have the right characteristics.
Is that a dart? So is that a dartnet thing? Is it yiffing? I heard that's a thing.
Like a farm. What... Breeding Pokemon, some sort of dark thing on the dark web.
Isn't yiffing about wearing a tail and...
I have no idea. It's far more innocent than that. You take your 2 Pokemon to the daycare centre, which is quite weird that it's a daycare centre, and then if they're compatible and love each other very much, a bit later you get an egg, and you go around in an egg, and that Pokemon hatches, and it looks like it's... I think it looks like its mum and it moves like its dad.
So, Joe, can I... Sorry.
No, you can.
I was just going to ask a question. I haven't played a Pokemon game since like Pokemon Blue, the first one. What would you recommend jumping into for just a quick knockabout on it, not necessarily to play hundreds of hours.
I can't think of a better one than this because it's kind of a reintroduction. I can't think of one that would. There's a load of remakes, right? So if you wanted to, you got your Switch and you started playing. There's Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, which are really nice, but they're almost. Did you ever play the Zelda remake that they made? That was just cute characters being, and it's quite cool. It's like that, but for that. So that's just going to be playing the old game again.
Link's Awakening.
The newer ones. It was Link's Awakening, yeah. The newer ones are a bit... There's one set in Britain, and I don't know if it's because it's being knowingly... It's not British, it's called like Galar, but it's Britain. You might like it, you might not. I thought I enjoyed it at the time, but don't love it. And it's got each one's got a new mechanic, and this one, it wasn't great. I would say, honestly, the Ultra ones have been a lot more fun than any of the others. Just at the start, you're running around mucking about, and you run into some Pokemon. There's and it's a nice tropical. At this time of year, it's nice to be somewhere tropical. If you've got a 3DS, I think this, or you can emulate it. I think it's really, really good.
Sure, Dave can emulate that from somewhere, can't you, Dave?
I'm having a look right now. I've probably got the ROM on here.
Can we trade then? We can trade Pokemon and stuff then. I think because the servers aren't quite working as they used to. Basically, if you go and there's a global trade thing. If you use that, someone's filled it up with faked Pokemon, and the server basically just rejects everything if you try and do it. But I guess between each other, I think you should do it, Dave. We could get a live stream.
I'll try it out.
But no, that's been great. The thing is, there's so many, and I've pretty much touched on most of the different generations. I remember playing it when I was probably too old for it then, in theory, but I remember playing it in sort of sixth form. When Pokemon Red came out, it was a dragon on the front, the Charizard. It's pretty cool. I'm playing through all of those, and I've still got some cartridges up there. You can't move Pokemon across from the very first two generations of games. They're locked there because they changed the way it all works. But from then on, every generation's been able to communicate with the next one. So I've sort of formulated a mini plan of at least getting to the stage where you can access that feature and bumping them all up. Because I found some Pokemon from 2004, 2000 and maybe earlier, 2002, just lying around. So Pokemon that are old enough to buy alcohol are essentially pensioners of the Pokemon world.
So these, again, Neale naive. So you've created them back in 2004. You can use them on the later version now, so they're still it's like a Tamagotchi that's kind of still alive and can still kind of play the game with.
I've just got it.
So, it's a complicated process.
Right. Okay. Don't say. Listen.
You can do it.
Okay.
You can do it, but there's a chain, right? From each generation can only talk to the last one and the next one. So if you don't have that feature unlocked in one of those, you can get that far and then you're stuck.
Okay.
Because they brought it in, they didn't bring it in for 39-year-old men to get their old Pokemon in. They brought it for kids that had this game and wanted to bring it to the next one.
I've got an image now of your digital Pokemon back from 2006, and you're still making him fight, and you brought him along, and he's just going, "Please kill me!"
I could have been a contender. Fag in its mouth. Come on, Joe.
Let me die, Joe. Let me die.
It's like,
but no, that's been great.
It's like the monkey from The Simpsons. Jojo wants to die. So
I'm one game in and I've spoken for about 20 minutes.
But it was entertaining and informative to me. So thank you for that. What else have you been playing?
Right, I'll go a bit quicker through some of these. I've not completed anything, nothing finished in that amount of time, I don't think. I've got too many great games on my sort of back burner at the moment. Well, too many. And it's not how I normally do it. And this is how games in the past have ended up on the pile of shame. They're not normally... I'm not buy loads of games. I'll buy a game, but then something great's come out while this one's out. So I've started playing this one, and that one's fallen by the wayside.
Happens to me.
It's not like they've never been
Guilty
touched.
100%.
But now I've got all of them on the wayside, so I've got play me, and I really should get to Frozen Wilds next, which is the expansion to Horizon Zero Dawn, because I'm on the last bit now. Like it's the vinegar strokes of the game. Like I'm just about getting to the bit where it's going to be finished, it's going to be done, and but because I keep leaping into other games, I'm then going, you've got to then pick up the control scheme and what am I actually doing, and I've forgotten what. I was losing that flow, so I've just got to stick to that one now. I've had a quick look through Witcher 3 again. I'm going to play through the 2 expansions on my version, my Geralt. I'm also reading the Witcher books still, because it's a huge tome that I've got for £1 off Amazon on the old money saving expert there. And it's massive, but it's getting really, really good. The writing does improve as you go along, and it's now getting like really, really like enthralling, the actual story. And it's quite cool then playing the game bits and remembering who everyone is, because there's quite a massive cast of sort of political characters in the Witcher games, and some of them you don't quite, I think from the game, didn't have the appreciation of where they fit into everything in the stories, because I've only ever played The Witcher 3, I've not played 2 or 1, but I think that's true for a lot of people.
Did you?
So that's my like.
Just interrupt to say, did you hear about their remaking the Witcher games? I don't know if they're doing them all, but I know they're definitely remastering 1 to a totally.
I think they're doing number 1,
and that's
number 1. Yeah, like
is that for like PS5 for new consoles?
Yeah, it's a brand new, built up from the ground job.
I thought you were going to talk about the recasting on Netflix.
Oh, that too. That's happened too. So, which is
called Witcher.
New Witcher. It's like Doctor Who. Maybe he regenerates and comes back as someone less. Henry
you can't
Cavill.
keep Henry Cavill forever. He's been so good though. I think Henry Cavill plays a great Witcher.
It won't be the same without him.
And I'm not sure it's one of the Hemsworths, isn't it? I'm
Budget
not sure
Thor.
he's got the.
Yeah,
but
cheaper Thor.
I don't think he's got the gravel in his nature that Geralt needs, but I might be proved wrong.
Actors be acting.
Like, give him a go. He hasn't even started the job yet. No point slagging him off, is there?
Yes, this is how the internet works.
Imagine how pissed off they'll be if they deep fake him back into the first 2 series. Just remove the existence of Henry Cavill.
Like they did with Dinklage in Destiny.
Yeah.
There's a wizard in that moon.
You've woken the Hive. I say that every time because there's a place on the way to Widnes called the Hive for a shopping centre. Helen's getting quite annoyed.
Laugh, damn it, Helen, laugh! And I'll stop.
It's a bloody good
keep
joke.
Going until it's funny. It's not my time you wasted. So it's The Witcher next. Then, now God of War's making its way up because I properly love the combat on it. It was so good, like just fighting, and that's so it got a bit boring. I know. Little lad's mum's dead. So, spoiler alert, in the first 5 minutes, little lad's mum's dead. And then you got a burner. And then you got to go around her house. And then you've got to, like, kill a deer or something. And that bit was a bit shit. But then you're like, oh, I'm playing with the axe now. And I sort of, after having a bit of a tutorial, know how the axe and the little lad with the arrows works. Because he's you're controlling him.
Yeah, you can kind of combine your attack patterns and stuff, can't you? Kind of. I did a
stupid thing when I played that. I put all my advancement points into boy instead of what's his name, Grumpy Face.
Dad.
Yeah, didn't work out too well. He's a shit. I don't know where anyone likes him. If you've ever played any of the old games, you'll realise what an absolute shit he is.
So the other one on the list after God of Shit is Mass Effect, which again, Neale, you've sold me. I want to play it, but I'm now like,
no, mate, you've got.
I'm paralysed by choice.
No.
That's great. This is great. And I'm just flipping between everything. And so Mass Effect, which I almost need to start again and taking my time.
I think you should definitely knock a couple of these off your list first because like playing God of War. That's 30-40 hours there. Witcher 3...
And I've not got that left.
Well, Witcher 3, if you're doing the expansion...
Hopefully I have got that left. That wasn't another reveal.
Yeah. By the way, guys, it's terminal, and I don't expect to see the other side of Christmas. No, I think you should definitely get rid of the other ones first, because if you're going to do the trilogy, the Legacy Edition, and you need to give him the justice, and you need to kind of really place yourself into it properly and not be interrupted and distracted, mate. So yeah, get the rest of it out of the way.
Frozen Wilds should be done. Should be doable. The Witcher 3, they're all ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the DLC is going to be ridiculous. So that's going to probably, realistically, getting them two boxed off by the end of the year is probably as much as I'm going to get done. Remember back in January when I was convinced I was going to get Majora's Mask out of the way? Finally, after several attempts. Well, I've barely touched it, but I am further than I've ever been in it before. I'm going to have to go back and do a bit of Majora's Mask. But I might, just to speed it up, I might use the old rewind time feature of the Switch version so that I don't die. And just make the... I know it's cheating a bit, but it's the only way I'm going to get the game done. Like at this stage, several years later, because I had it on the N64, so the cartridge itself was older than those old age Pokemon we were talking about. I think I'm just going to do it with a bit of a cheat, just so it gets finished. Or it's that, or watch a run through on YouTube. So I think doing it with a bit of a cheat is probably better. I'm counting Pokemon Ultra Moon as a retro game because it is really, isn't it? It doesn't feel like it. It feels like a fairly modern one. It's in, I think, the 3DS as well. It's a great. It's the only game I've got on it, but you can play all the other minions. It's a great little console. It's got a 3D, like 2-lens camera system on it. It's 3D, like it is 3D. There's no mucking about. The screen, no glasses, 3D. It still seems like a miracle to me. Maybe I'm an idiot, but it feels like it's something magical.
I've still got one right next to me there. I've used them quite a lot. I've been playing a lot of... I'm not going to go through these, but I've been rediscovering the GBA, the Game Boy Advance, and that is an utter gold mine of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many good games on it. Anyway... Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, so I love an interruption. It's all right. It's good. That and then I played a bit of Mario Kart.
I thought MK meant Mortal Kombat.
Although I would love to do a bit of Mortal Kombat as well. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to start that amongst all of this. I'm not going to start playing old Mortal Kombat. That's pretty much. In fact, that's not me completely done, because these are not retro, but they're like a retro games. In fact, it's neither. It just doesn't have a defined endpoint. 51 worldwide games, I think it's called, or maybe 50 worldwide games on the Switch. Helen and I have been playing that loads. Little quick game of golf, quick game of pool, quick game of darts. It's brilliant. It's just a collection of loads and loads of little games.
Ooh.
I imagine Dave is very familiar with it. I don't know if anyone else has played it.
No, I know about that, but I never owned that myself. Yeah, it's just all backgammon and chess and all things like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got like motion controls on darts, so you're doing that, and there's a little Wii bowling type game on it as well. It's quite cool. It's quite good for a couple of minutes. The golf is very similar to the Game Boy. It was called Golf, but it had Mario on the front. Like an old sort of Mario Golf game,
Tour.
Yeah. I am determined before I die to finish Frozen Freefall without giving them a single penny of my money. And the game is not designed in that way. It's designed to have checkpoints where the only way through is to buy a power-up from them. And I've got through 2 or 3 of those checkpoints, and I am never going to pay them not the 79p it would require for me to finish. I've been on the same level for 6 months. You are not having my 79p. I'm going to figure out how to break your level, you little shits.
Is this that Disney thing?
So when I got my
Frozen
PS4,
Freefall.
I didn't have many games. I did get Frozen Freefall back in sort of 2016. And for some reason, and we're talking Frozen, you get to play as the characters. It's basically columns, but like not quite as good as columns, with Frozen characters. And you've got to make your way around a map. Well, I'm on level 247 of it. I think it's 240 something of it. And I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. So sort of every time I put the PS4... This might be what's slowing me down. Every time I put the PS4 on, I'm having a quick go of Frozen...
There's no might be about it, mate.
I'm going to have this level today. And I'm not having it. I'm not having it. But one day, I will get the 200 or whatever it is, bits of frost off the level without using one of your power-ups. I'm going to do it my way.
Joe, you should just play the thing on the Xbox app. What's it called? Play it every goddamn day. It's a match 3 game. You could be earning actual money from this instead.
How does that beat Frozen Freefall?
Because it's the same. It's like it's a match 3
No.
puzzler that you play it every day. I forgot what it's called.
I'm engaged in a battle with a game called Frozen Freefall.
Yeah,
That game
playing
is my
something
nemesis.
else.
Disney
Playing
will
another
not
game.
win.
It's not going to help me beat Frozen Freefall without... Like, I could just pay the money. I'm not paying the money. I'm going to beat Frozen Freefall.
But what I'm saying is, you could be getting free money. I've
So if I get free money...
£50 off
and
Microsoft
use the
this
free
year.
money to buy power-ups on Frozen Freefall, that's how I do it.
You
So
get
it's sort of-
Microsoft
Cheat the
to
system.
fund your Frozen gig.
it's on the PlayStation.
Exactly, makes it even filthier.
The
So I
dirty-
can get Microsoft to pay Sony, to pay Disney to
This
let
sounds
me...
like Pokemon breeding all over again.
I wonder, would it be weird if I got one of my old Pokemon to breed with?
Yeah, cross-generational.
Oh, dirty old man.
Or
Come on,
intergenerational loving. Oh my god. No, thank you.
Joe, what's your oldest Pokemon called?
My first Pokemon, which is sadly deceased because the battery ran out on Pokemon Silver, was called Tit.
Were you so proud of yourself when you wrote that?
I was quite, yeah, Tit. And then there is a Pokemon knocking around somewhere called Son of Tit because it was bred with that Pokemon.
So,
I am Tit, son of
so
Tit.
do you,
I'm Tit, Son of Tit, yeah.
again, naive question from somebody who's never played Pokemon. So, if it was called Tit, and would that not mutate into like the next generation? So, would you have called that breast or boob or something?
They keep their names. They keep their names.
I didn't know if it was like a
them,
Pikachu going to whatever you said it was.
right. Oh no! So if you give it a name, it keeps that name
Right.
when it evolves.
Oh, okay, that's fine then.
But yeah, so Tit is a Charizard now. When I first got Tit, he was a little Charmander. He was a little one. There's one of these around. It's a little one, little Charmander. It's because he's young. His face is blurred for the camera.
Protect his innocence.
But he's still called Tit. This is my son, Tit.
Did you see I posted one in Midlife Gamer when someone had posted something about Pokemon names. Actually, I found a little pink. It's a pink fairy type Pokemon called. It's a Snubble. It's a type of like bulldog. It was just called Hordog.
Hordog.
And it was a Chris Morris homage from Brass Eye, where something that really stuck in my mind was there's a little black and white thing of supposedly a Victorian, one of London's many Hordogs, and it was just a dog sort of dancing round in a dress, and so it was named after that. It's got a good pedigree, I suppose. I think that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been playing Pokemon Go.
Talk to me how good the music in Transistor is.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant. And in fact, that's another one where I've kind of parked it because I can't give it the attention it deserves at the moment. That's such a good game. And I think it could be up there. I have a feeling it will get up there where Hades is in terms of like, you're forced to work yourself out. You're forced to... Compromise is the wrong word, but you're dealing with, I've lost this. I've got to make another build quickly.
Am I right in thinking that...
And it forces you to rethink your strategy.
Am I right in thinking that was the one where each time you found a new ability, if you like, you could actually select if it was an active or a passive or a secondary and build around your needs?
Yeah, and when you die, you randomly lose one of your abilities, and it's out for a certain amount of time. So, and all those abilities are based on people that you rescue. So you'll meet some of their characteristic leads into the ability. But like one of them, I guess it's someone who's a bit of a sneak, and you get sort of the sneak power, which if you have it as an active makes you go invisible. But if you attach it to another thing, it makes that more sort of sneaky or something, and it makes that move faster. It's a very clever and well implemented, very complex game that seems really simple on the surface. It is great. It's really, really good.
Right, are you done, Jojo?
Yeah, after all of that, I've finished nothing. I've made no progress towards any of my goals, but I am sort of having fun doing it.
Isn't that life?
Good
It's kind of
stuff.
the thing, isn't it?
That's why we play games, to have fun.
But to be honest, the best thing isn't... Because I play my games a bit like this anyway. The best thing's been these, like having a good old chat and having some of the community nights as well. Like these chats, genuinely love having a good old chat with you three, and doing that. And I don't think if I wasn't doing this, I don't think I would have had to go on the community night where we would play at the movies and stuff like that. And I think that's been brilliant too. So more of that as well would be great.
Well, yeah. We'll see. See how we're fixed. Maybe we'll get one on the go on Friday,
Right.
but we'll talk about that off.
Have I blown a secret? No, this would be too late.
This ain't going up until like before Friday, people. It's Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Exactly. Matt's gonna have a nice, good weekend to sit down and.
So Dave, before we jump into
magic.
your world, let's have another question. I've got one here from Stuart Whitehouse. He's talking about the current TVs, and even I am kind of slightly invested in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out Here for the first time in about 10 years. I think I miss seeing two Geordie knuckleheads like in the sun. I quite like that. The clocks have gone whichever way they've gone. It's dark early. I'll happily watch Hand and Deck enjoying themselves for money. But his question is, sorry, go on, Dave.
I liked it. Oh, sorry. I liked it when they were in the castle last year because it looked a bit like they were on the set of Nightmare. I thought at any moment they were going to put the helmet on someone, do some spell casting.
Spell casting. CELAB, Celebrity. Right. Well, obviously he's making a joke because it's going to be hilarious because there's some idiots turning up this year. But key question, Stuart, is which of us would survive if we were invited?
Not me.
Can I bring the pizza axe?
Yeah.
Aren't you allowed to bring one thing in with you? Bit like a joke.
Yeah. A little bit like... Yeah, you bring a personal item, can't you, or something?
I bought a
I
chef.
thought Ray Mears.
Yeah. I bought a tent or something to keep it. I think I'd be terrible. I'm not very good with spiders, snakes, bugs that you can see. Anything you can see its eyes, fuck off.
Anything that I fought in a role-playing game, I don't want to have to spend the time with.
Yeah, because you're not going to actually get any XP from killing it.
True that.
Apart from the actual, the rest of the UK viewing people fucking hating you for it. But yeah, no, I'd be absolutely. I could do the camping stuff like that. I've done stuff like that before, loads, but not where there's absolutely fucking floor to ceiling.
Nothing with eyes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a story afterwards about an experience I had with a spider. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but I'll tell you a story of a spider I met in Vietnam. And yeah, wow.
Derek. His name was Derek.
Back when he was a vet.
He had a 1,000-yard stare, definitely. But yeah, no, count me out of that. Joe, do you reckon
I don't think myself and the certain new member that is joining would both survive.
No.
I don't think I could deal with...
No, there'd be murder on TV.
Well, I can't threaten that on a podcast, but I don't... I couldn't.
Although, funny is that Chris Moyles isn't the most hated person on that show.
I've heard from a mate that Boy George is good value. I think Boy George would be spiky and difficult, but were ultimately worth it. The opportunity to befriend Boy George would be quite good.
Oh, he seems quite sound. Apart from the training people to radiators bit.
The wife tells me do you remember when he got in trouble and went to prison for like legit kidnapping somebody and probably I assume as a sex slave because I don't know why not?
Yeah, he chained him to a radiator.
Terry Waits
kidnapped him. Yeah, Terry waited him. Anyway, getting back on.
Is that now a verb to be Terry Waited?
Terry waited on hand and foot.
to be waited upon. Yeah.
Takes 2 sets of handcuffs, right?
I reckon I'd be pretty sound on it because basically I'll eat anything. I'm not fussy at all. I'd bite the head off a rat probably. Well, you know me and my history of rats. I've told you the story. I don't think that made it to air.
Take your spade with you. That's your luxury item.
I'm not bothered about bugs or rats, snakes, nothing like that. They don't scare me. My problem would be I'd either get bored because there'd be no technology or something, or I'd end up in a massive argument with someone. But yeah, I think I'd be sound. I could do the camping, I could do the trials, not bothered about any of them. and I'd eat anything. So there we go.
Outstanding work. Well, I am in the mood for some rapid fire reviews. I need to speak to somebody who's played all the video games from all of the decades, from all of the platforms, emulated in some half dodgy black country method. His name's David Southall. Bring us home, fella. What have you been up to?
Oh, okay. Right. This is not as an extensive list as usual, so I'll just fire them off. So, completed. I'll go quite quick. Okay, completed Borderlands 3. We've now completed all the DLCs. We've 100%ed it, got all the achievements. I've got like 2 or 3 achievements still to get, but they're just like pick-up ones. Absolutely amazing. Love the DLCs. Brilliant. Borderlands 3, done, packed off, finished. Second game is the one that Matt was alluding to earlier. It's a PC game, and it recreates you playing basically a healer role in MMOs. So you can spec down various trees, like Druid Tree, where you can cast regens, or necromancy skills where you do life drains, and you basically keep an NPC party alive as you go through this. It turns into a bit of a roguelike. I spent probably about 40 hours on it. Matt's still played 356 hours, but he's not finished it yet. I'm hoping he will. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it every minute. Just made me want to play an MMO again. Really bad though, and I'm self-banned on them. Okay, done. Third game I finished is I fancied a bit of shooty action, and it's just like what Matt was saying earlier. I just fancied a bit of good old-fashioned Doom, so I played through Doom 64. It's on the Xbox, but the Doom, the Nintendo 64 version of it, basically.
Was the 64 because it was a 64-bit console?
Yeah. Well,
was it its own game, its
know.
own levels, or was it one with polish?
It's like a bit of a remix of everything, and then there's a load of like additional stuff on the end. I'm not sure because I never played it at the original time. The only version of Doom that I played really was like the old version on a good old 486 back in the day. Just ice proper, just basic, no brainer, just not very hard to work out. Doom 64 classic, play it. I mentioned earlier Grim Fandango, so good. They really should make a film out of that. It's like a remastered version of it, and they didn't have all the assets, so like some of the cutscenes that play are proper old fashioned, like Amiga rendered graphics, really bad resolution, and then you jump to like a more modern, super sharp polygon version of your character. It's all very jarring how it all fits together, and the control schemes are terrible still. But it's just an absolute classic. What an adventure! So that's all my completeds. Dabbled with and in progress. I've played a couple of beta tests actually. I played Street Fighter 6 beta. That was great. I utterly hated it when I started because it's not like a standard lobby, like menu system. You actually go into a physical lobby where there's people who've got avatars that they've made and they're walking around. And to play someone, you have to physically sit down at an arcade machine, and someone walks over and sits next to you at the arcade machine, and you play like that. And everyone is extremely good online on that game. They've also, it took me a while to figure out that they've changed the controls. Like I'm old school. I like playing on a fight stick, 6 buttons, nothing else. They've changed like the controls, so they've made it easier. So you have less actual moves, like normal punches and kicks and stuff, but you can just press a button to do a special move. And at the speed of the game, it's a good thing to get people sort of on more of an even footing. But I couldn't work out what the hell I was doing. I was like, that's not strong kick, I'm doing a fancy fireball or something. So it took me a good while to work out how to set it back to just like bog standard commands that you have to manually put them in, and I loved it once I found that. So that's a game that will be getting bought. Okay, so the second beta that I played was Dark Tide. This is a Warhammer 40k set in the future game, obviously, first person, and if you've played Vermintide or Vermintide 2, it's basically that with guns set in space. It's superb. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Just as a side note, I've been playing through Vermintide 2 from the beginning with Derek and Gav. We've been playing that on PC. It's so good. It's just really fun co-op game. It plays like Left 4 Dead kind of thing. And Neale, I want you to come and join us.
I will do. I've got it now because it was on. They were giving it away on Steam, weren't they, last weekend? And
yeah, because we talked about it. Yeah, and you said
I thought I had it. I had vague memories of it on that night we discussed it on that gaming night. I'm pretty sure I thought I owned it, and I thought I had it on my Xbox. So when you guys had arranged something last Thursday or Wednesday, whenever it was, I fully expected me to be able to join in, and then I was just as good as the next man when I was just like, actually, where did I dream that up from? But look, by God smiling on us or whatever. It was free on Steam for Saturday, Sunday. So thanks for the heads up on that, Dave. So I've downloaded it. I can, if you're playing on PC, and I can join you. I'll come and join you next time you play it.
It's great fun.
So this is free, right? So totally free. I've added it to my library because I saw it was free.
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably don't need any extra complications, but I could just jump and join in, couldn't I?
You could, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be breaking any rules.
Yeah.
No, because it's free.
Oh, it's easy enough as well for me. Like, obviously, I've played a bit already. I could easily spin up a new character because there's different character classes you can be, and just play from the start again with people. It's class. Okay, it dabbled again. I did a stream. I just fancy it. I talked about this before. Because I've been watching the Beavis and Butthead series. I've just really been enjoying them, the new ones. I got hold of a copy of Beavis and Butthead Do You, and I did a stream of it. Now, this was a nightmare to arrange because it was trying to run a Windows 95 CD-ROM game on Windows 11 now and stream it, and it all worked. Was somewhat of a nightmare, but it did. Very dated, very, very dated language. I almost felt like I had to, because I was streaming it, I felt like I had to keep apologising for like what they're saying. Still funny. Not a classic, but well worth playing. I haven't quite finished it. I've got probably an hour left to do on it, but I'll get through to that. More Borderlands. I have been a bit Borderlands crazy lately. Just can't get enough of it at the moment. I just love that universe. I love all the characters, love all the lore. So I decided to go back and play Tales from the Borderlands, the Telltale games, the adventures, the 5-part series. So I've only played through the first one again lately, but it's such a great game. You know, when you can't really be bothered playing anything, you think, oh, shall I watch a TV instead? Shall I watch something? But this is a great compromise for both.
An interactive episode.
There's just enough gameplay. Yeah. There's just enough gameplay to keep you going. And there's just some interesting choices. And there's some brilliant cameos of the characters. You don't need to have played previous Borderlands characters. You know, it's a story in its own right, but it's a great help if you have, because it's like, oh my god, this character or that character. Love it. I'll be carrying on with those. Likewise, been playing Far Cry 5 still, and we're in the last third of it now. I'd say we haven't got that far left. This is me and Gavin again. Loving it. I've got something else, but I want to wait till Matthew's here, really. Anyway, so I'll go on to retro. Retro, I've been playing all sorts. As you know, this year for me has basically been more retro than anything else. Arcades, that's my bag at the moment. When I don't want to sit through a AAA, I just sit down, spin up like Congo Bongo or Donkey Kong Jr., play for a few credits. And I feel good. I've had a full, complete game experience from that. You know what I mean? So generally, I only put one credit in anyway and see how far I can get. So anyway, I decided to dig out some of the old Xbox 360 games that are on, they're backwards compatible, just to see if they're any good still, and if there was any online community for them. So just quickly, I played Daytona USA driving game. So much fun. Still probably my favourite arcade driving game. Still fun. Still amazingly has people playing it multiplayer. So I played a load of games online the other night. I've been playing a shooter, which is originally an extremely expensive Saturn game called Radiant Silvergun. It's brilliant because you can play it like in a campaign mode where you sort of level up your guns. There's no power-ups at all in this game. You have 7 weapons, and the more you use the weapon, the better it gets. It's absolutely sublime game. So I'd recommend it to anyone if you like shooters. It's just a normal, vertical scrolling shooter. The same goes for Ikaruga. I'm sure some of you have played this before on Dreamcast or the GameCube. It's just a shooter. You got no power-ups again, but you can swap between light and dark. And if you're light, you do more damage to dark things, but you can pass through light projectiles coming at you. I wish I was good at this game. It is just too hard for me, this game. I can't get through it.
You're in your 40s, Dave. How on earth have you got high-end coordination to do shmups like that?
I can't. Some of them, like I said, I finally finished R-Type on 1 credit last month, which again only took me my entire life to do. But yeah, Ikaruga's just too hard for me. It just blows my mind.
I remember it being really hard to get hold of at one stage. It was like I was desperate for that game, and couldn't get it. It was like a real. Have you played it yet? There's real discussions about people trying to get hold of it and stuff. I played it a while ago. I think it was emulated, and it is great fun, but so hard. That mechanic makes it like how much do you want to gamble? If you want to beat this guy, are you willing to take a bit of extra damage? It's good.
Just to take the piss, I saw a video of a guy playing 2-player one-handedly. And he completes it. He's playing both ships at once.
But
I just couldn't believe it.
He's a different type of human, isn't to be able to do that. That's not...
Yeah. Anyone that can do anything like that is just crazy. Anyway, I also played old-fashioned. These are just games that I just saw in my Xbox library, and I thought, I wonder if they play any well. So I played Frogger. Obviously, you can't multiplayer that, but I love Frogger. It's big soft spot in my heart for that. Joust, no online. Nobody was available online. I love Joust. I could play those 2 games forever. I played the Sega Vintage collections of Golden Axe. I couldn't get anyone to play online with those, and the same for Streets of Rage. I also been playing a remix version, a PC remix version of Streets of Rage, an illegal one that Sega have actually stomped down on, which is so good. It's proper old Mega Drive style graphics and banging soundtrack. Ace game.
I wonder if there's somebody out there checking some network connections going, there's some dude in the West Midlands who's desperate. Maybe we should re-release the Sega collection online, because there's some geezer who's desperate to do Golden Axe.
Yeah, they're great. The classics. Other arcade games that I've been playing of note. I played there's a Gauntlet sequel called Gauntlet Dark Legacy. This is one of those like quasi 3D ones, isometric version. Super janky, super amazing sound. Just really fun. It was lots of like RPG elements. It's like like a crappy Diablo really. But I just really enjoyed it. But that put me on a bit of a Gauntlet spree. So I dug out Gauntlet 4 on the Mega Drive, because that's also got like a quest mode. So it's not just like your standard Gauntlet. It's it's a bit RPG. If you've got a Mega Drive, I highly recommend Gauntlet 4. It is super good.
2022, Dave just said that on a podcast. If you've got a Mega Drive.
Or a... Surely, I mean, well, I know you've got in your Steam library, you've got like the Mega Drive collection. Maybe it's on that. It's really good, honestly. Go have a look. And Nintendo Online on their bonus thing, they've got Mega Drive games on there now. Don't dismiss these old games. They play better than a lot of new ones, believe me. And then the last retro bit is I've barely ever played any PC Engine games, and this was one of them consoles that I used to read about in CMVG, you know, back in the day, and think, oh God, I'd love to have one of them. I've never even laid my hands on one, so I just dug out a load of emulation stuff for that, and just went through just, you know, like the recommended games, the top games. So not going to go into them, but Ninja Spirit was awesome, Devil's Crush, Kadash, Splatterhouse and Lords of Thunder. They're probably the best four. Oh, and R-Type, but I was sick of R-Type. I'm never playing that game again now. Amazing. Evergreen stuff, Heroes of the Storm, still playing that every day. Overwatch 2, I've played a ton of. We've had some community nights on that as well, but it's been a bit of a ropey launch. We tried to have a private lobby on Overwatch 2. We thought that would be the easiest way to do things. But the way Blizzard have implemented the authentication, you have to go through like an authentication app, and you need a phone number. It's to stop people making like who've got high level accounts playing low level accounts and decimated everyone again. But unless you played so many matches, you couldn't even speak. You couldn't use the voice chat. And because we set it up, because it's a cross-play, so anyone on the Switch, PC, PS4, PlayStation, Xbox, you can all play together. You can all join the lobby, and you should all be able to chat. But unless you've played the requisite amount of games, you couldn't speak. You could hear other people. So it just became an absolute nightmare to manage. What did you think, Neale? Because this was probably one of your first goes on. Overwatch,
it's actually
wasn't
one. It actually was. I think the first one I probably played 1 or 2 matches years ago, when that the height of when that came out. But this was and that was a drunken affair at the time, so I don't really kind of recall any details from it. But yeah, when we tried to play this, and when you heroically kind of and had the patience of a saint that evening to try and put up with everybody messaging going, Dave, I can't hear anybody. Dave, it was a bit of a.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a shame, really, because eventually we managed to get about 60% of the people in the lobby into a game, didn't we, I think? And it was...
What we did is we swapped everyone into an Xbox party chat. I mean, God bless, I think it was Rich Rogers. He even downloaded the Xbox version of the game so he could get into an Xbox party with us.
Yeah. It's a shame, really. I mean, because it's... I can see, like you've said, they do certain things for certain reasons, because they've probably got that many people playing those games that they just don't want, if they've not got the systems in size to recognise, the multiple accounts under one user, then, okay, understand it. They don't want to ruin the experience for everybody else. But what ruins the experience for everybody else is for new people that can't get in and can't actually enjoy it. And especially because it's gone free to play, that model of free to play, come in, do some tracks. Sorry, the fly was going past me. I'm not trying to cue up the audio there.
You're just applauding yourself.
Just because, the new...
What I said was bloody good.
I'm a new player. Yeah, I'm a new player, me. Just, it's free to play. They want to get people in. They want people buying skins and all that kind of things. Great. But you're not going to get that if nobody can get in. And I'll be honest, Dave, I've not even tried to play it since that evening. And I think I'd have to have evidence that it works now before I waste another hour of my life getting extremely frustrated.
It was worth saying, that when we tried this, it came at the end of a week of launch week, and they'd had multiple DDoS attacks against them, and it was launch. Yeah. So there was a lot of gremlins in the system. As I say, I don't know if that's changed because I've not tried to play crossplay since. I should mention as well, the reason we're playing Overwatch 2, which is a new game, is because Overwatch 1 no longer exists. The game automatically upgraded to Overwatch 2. I don't know why they've done that. They've literally just stuck a 2 on the end, monetised the hell out of it. Nothing's changed, apart from it's incredibly hard to get any skins and things now, where it used to be. God, who'd have ever thought I'd been in praise of loot boxes, but that was much better than what they've got now. They've got a battle pass that you have to pay for, etc. Yeah, it sucks, but unfortunately I absolutely love that game, so I've played quite a lot of it. And that's it really. But I have got one important announcement.
Here's something on the horizon. There's some sort of alarm on the horizon. What's going on, David?
Insert klaxon here because I have received a gift.
Crikey, O'Reilly.
So I got a message. I don't know whether I should mention the person. I won't mention them now. I will in the next one because I don't know if he wants mentioning. But somebody said, here's thanks for organising so much over the year. Put this into your PlayStation store, and I put it in, and I've got a spanking new copy of the new COD.
Oh, check you out.
So I was pretty mosh about all of this, to be honest. It put me on the back foot, that did, and I thought, what a lovely gesture. So yeah, I've played probably about half the campaign so far. I am a complete COD newbie, and I am terrible at it. And I don't think I'll be playing much of the multiplayer, but my God, that is some campaign. The Amsterdam level on that, my eyes were practically popping out my head. I actually stopped, looked it up on Google Maps because I knew exactly where it was, and walked around the same bit I'd just been in the game, and it was almost identical. It was
slightly less murder.
Yeah, a bit less murder. So certainly some interesting windows in that game.
I mean, everyone talks about that level, and I've seen loads of screenshots. Is the rest of the game as good, or is that just like a real?
Yeah, it's good. It is good. I'll tell you what it does. It's very good at disguising small areas to be super detailed. I mean, there are some much bigger areas. I'm not going to go into it because spoilers or etc. because it's a brand new game. But there are larger areas, but it's the small areas that are really detailed. Like you end up on a canal barge or something like that, and it's those small areas that are just super packed with details that really, makes you think, yeah, this is good. It does a really good job of. Like I said, I'm a complete newbie at it, of a gradual slope of introducing you to systems and weapons and the absolute lethality of the combat. It really is like, if you miss a couple of shots, you're dying because they'll take you down. But yeah, it's really good, really, really good, and thank you for that. And so that's my list complete.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Well done indeed.
Yeah. So, do we need to do a very quick Abbott check? Is he still alive? Joe?
He's alive. Abbott's alive.
Excellent. Just wanted to double check.
Do we have any Abbott facts?
The only fact that I could find out about him, he's either he's got a double life and he's ghosting the media. He's sort of had a digital blackout on his life because he's done something very bad. I don't know if U-Tree was involved or anything about this, but oh God, where is it?
He's in the What Have You Been Playing section.
Because of course it's in the What We've Been Playing section is where we'll throw all the Abbott facts.
No,
right, there's an Abbott question.
No, you'll have to take over.
Toby James has put in saying, how many Abbotts would Russ Abbott if Russ Abbott could Abbott Abbotts? And it's a very silly question because, as we all know, Abbott is not a verb. You can't Abbott something.
No.
You can abet though. So I think the real question would be, how many Abbotts would Abbott abet if Abbott could abet Abbotts? I don't know.
I like the fact that we're still talking about Abbott and you've answered a question from the question section. Joe, you are absolutely on fire. So the news that we understand from the Abbott check is his real name is Russ Allen Roberts. And he was once in a band called The Dark Abbots.
There we go. And that's all the information I could find this week. But I quite like the fact he was in a band called The Dark Abbots. I imagine it as a sort of very Hawkwindy prog type episode where they all wear robes.
Well, I like the fact that he's so confident in his Abbott ability that he just rocked up and said, no, we're naming the band after me. I'm
unless it was like a family band.
In the last podcast, My mate's dad went to school with him. Have we spoken about this?
What?
No.
So he's from Chester, right? Originally, my mate's dad went to school with him. And
great story.
Unsurprisingly, his review of him was he was a bit attention seeking, which yeah, he didn't get on with him. He said he was a bit attention, but yeah. So that could be a way in. We could. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but I'm also not saying it's definitely not going to happen. That Russ Abbott could be making an appearance in the final episode,
even if it's just a sound clip.
OMG.
That'd be fantastic.
I'll be honest, I did look him up on camera.
He's not on
this
camera,
week.
is he?
Yeah, we've done that. I'm sure we looked at that one in the first episodes. We were looking for him. Should we do another couple of questions before we kind of wrap up with any other particular sections? Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah, I'll throw some rapid fire ones from Serena Hayward. Right, rapid fire. I'm talking here now. Favorite prime color. I'm assuming blue's one of them, and I'll go for that.
See, you say rapid fire. What's you talking about? I couldn't work out if it was primary colours or prime numbers. Primary colour, obviously red. Prime numbers, however, you are hitting a can of worms here. So,
Joe, back down, Joe. Back down, Joe.
I couldn't even come up with the top.
No.
I've got my top 7.
No, but we don't want to know. It's not the question.
2.
Save that for another time.
359. I'm just going to talk over it. I'm used to people not wanting to hear maths and me having to force it down their throat. 359, which isn't just a prime number. It's an MRIP, which means it's a prime and it's a prime backwards. 1013 is another prime number. It's my third favourite prime number. 137 is a twin prime, so that's a prime number it's also got a prime number 2 numbers down. 137 is good. That's a good prime number. I think that's a balanced prime number. A balanced prime number is exactly halfway between two other prime numbers, which means it's the mean of the prime number before and after it. 383 is a reversible prime number. I think it's called a cyclical prime number, so 333 goes both ways. 151
this is how Joe's Pokemon started screaming, kill me!
So the next prime number that I do like with that has got a link to that, because it's 151. Got to catch them all. And that's it. Another. So they're my 7 favourite prime numbers. I couldn't really just keep it to 1. I feel like we've lost the 3 viewers that we had. Red.
Okay. Green.
Green's not a prime, unless green is a prime colour in light, but it's not a prime because RGB, isn't it? So you can have that, Neale. So
that's why I said green.
That's what he said, because everyone's thinking about light.
Yeah. That's
green
why
is blue, isn't? Yeah. Yellow.
It's not a prime number either, unfortunately, Joe. So I'm sorry. Sorry, what was yours? Yellow.
Blue.
Okay. Well, then next one is can any of you arseholes bake a cake?
I can bake a cake.
Yes, I can. I can make a fucking mean banana bread. Thank you, COVID.
Oh, everyone must have had a go at banana bread.
I bought tins and everything. I bought tins online, like different size banana bread tins. And then I think I finished on a Victoria sponge, and that was quite nice. And then
yeah, but what have you been baking?
Nice. Now, I do like making cakes, but I don't make them because I'd end up like Mr. Creosote. Fuck off, I'm full. However, it is coming up to Christmas, so I shall be doing my traditional Christmas cake. Very boozy this year. Yeah, so yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, although I tend to bake a gluten-free cake because my partner's celiac and can't have gluten, so it's better for me. And actually, she's better at baking cakes than me by quite a long way.
Well, it turns out we're 75% baking in this group. Talking about accidents, how many bones have you broken, or have you broken anything else? I am, as far as bones go, golden. Have broken banjo string because
I'm Matthew Moore.
Did everyone have a little contraction?
Yeah, I turned into a samurai for a second and just brought everything in.
Yep. The boys were headed home for safety then.
So was that a hospital trip then?
No.
Sellotape.
Did you attempt to Rambo?
Yeah.
Blue tack, the real man's adhesive.
Duct tape.
Heating up a needle.
Yeah.
Was it while you were attempting to finish on a Victoria sponge?
Yeah.
Oh.
Your appropriate laugh as well there, Dave. Have you broke out, Dave?
I've broke loads of stuff. Once, a brief history of breakages. Once I woke up and my knee had swelled up massive like a football. It was absolutely enormous. And I went to the hospital and they literally went, oh, dunno.
You sure it was a hospital?
And But they x-rayed my leg and they went, "Oh, you've it's not on your notes, but I can see you've had a few broken bones." I was like, "What?" And so apparently I'd broken my leg 3 times and most of my toes. Just never knew about that. So I'll be chronically arthritis ridden, I would imagine, later.
I am.
When I was a kid, I ran across the top of some pipes, fell flat and completely flattened my face, apparently. And my mum said I looked like John Merrick, so that's a lovely thing for your mum to say. And another time, my friend's friend, we were out on a boozy night, and he was saying, "Oh, I've got a really bad back," and he said, "God, his name's Terry." He picked him up and he like cracked his back like that, and I went, "Oh, that looks great. Can I have a go?" And he picked me up and he gave me a bear hug and broke 3 of my ribs, and I thought I was going to die. So yeah, I broke quite a bit. Oh, I've also smashed all my fingers because when I was a kid, I had a deck chair, and you put the rungs back. So
I can only.
and then, the deck chair went squash on my fingers, broke my fingers, and obviously I couldn't get up because my hands were trapped in it.
One of the most awful pictures
So,
ever
yeah.
drawn in my mind. That's horrible.
There you go. So yeah, I'm broke enough to cover the rest of your thing.
Joe, have you ever broke a bone?
I've never broken a bone, and I don't think I've ever broken anyone else's. I've fallen over a lot. I did sort of assume that, like midlife gamers in general, my bones are brittle and chalky, but actually they seem to be all right. So I'm doing all right. But touch wood, no bones broken of myself or my enemies.
Your nemesis.
Good show.
I've broken a couple as well, Dave. It's pretty much not in the same number as Dave, but I broke my arm 3 weeks before my GCSE results, swinging on a pub sign to show off in front of girls, and fell off said pub sign. So much so that broke my upper left arm to the point where the bone almost came through the skin. That was extremely painful. And it's actually still disfigured now. When you kind of hold my guns up, my muscles pointing in a different direction on my left arm. I broke my middle finger at university. Not doing what you think, Matthew. Put your brain away, you dirty boy. Playing knock-a-door run on a drunken night out. Knocked on the door. Turned round to run. Fell over myself.
Still in the letterbox.
Yeah. I turned round, fell over on my own feet, and for some reason I put my hands out to save me, but it was just my middle finger on my right hand, and this will save me. Crack, and you won't see it on camera, but basically my middle finger is bent still. And then my 2 most painful bones, I think they class as bones, is I smashed both my I halved one and 3/4 my 2 front teeth when I was a child as well. So that was extremely painful, but nerves hanging out of both of them. So that was at Skegness at a leisure park where my mum and dad were fishing all day, fishing next to this leisure park. Can you remember those Astro slides where you went down on a wicker mat? Can you remember those? Well,
dangerous as fuck. You get to about 90 miles.
Well, I was on it all day. I think you could pay like a £5 or something. I was talking when I was about 9 or 10, 9-ish. It was my adult teeth anyway, and I think you could pay a £5 to go on all day. And because my mum and dad were just like, "Piss off, leave us alone, go and play on this all day," I was going down backwards, going down, standing up. I was a fucking ninja that day. Everybody thought I was the king of the Astro slide. Got to kind of 3/4 of the way through the afternoon, and I don't know if you remember them, but they had those big cast iron stairs going up the side, didn't they? And the ones that got like the kind of diamond shape on them. I tripped over my wicker mat and smashed my teeth on the edge of the stairs, and that was extremely painful. So I've been dealing with fake front teeth for all my life, so that's pretty fucking bad. But yes, and then to end, I don't think I've ever broken anybody else's. You never know, though. I mean, you can't tell. Maybe there was a delayed reaction, but yeah, they're the ones that I've thought of.
Just breaking hearts over here. Hearts
Yes,
and hymens.
exactly. That's
One
the
or
one.
the other. Serena wraps up with a sensible long asked question about gaming, which essentially is money no object, talent no object. You're making a video game. Yeah. What are you going to make?
Go on then, David.
I think I've already made Time Hound, but not yet.
Yeah. No, you've paid it.
Stole my answer.
You've paid it previously, but you're about to make it again. You've made the sequel before the original.
Oh, well, I made the prequel. That's mine. Time Pop.
That came out after Time Hound, didn't it?
It did. It's a whole new paradigm.
Excellent stuff. I would make a really good like murder mystery, like Heavy Rain type, that Quantic Dream kind of game. I'd make something like that, just as big as that, just as weighty as that, maybe episodic or something like that. You know what I mean? But a proper murder mystery, kind of looking at clues, kind of that type of thing. I've always kind of liked those kind of Sherlock Holmes games for things like that. Just for the kind of little mini games and the kind of working out the kind of reading people's expressions. Like what was the Rockstar game set in the 50s? Oh, come on, Dave, help me out.
The detective, L.A. Noire.
Like that, but less cars, less having to shoot, but more kind of detective work.
Call it Birmingham Noir.
Birmingham Noir.
Yeah, that's my answer.
I would like to do some sort of thing to get normal people involved. I would like to make some sort of interactive soap opera, so it would be on every day and have the general public sort of influence it. Now, this could go horrifically wrong, but that would be brilliant.
Didn't they?
You're on mute, man.
Didn't they do that with guys? Not Quantic Dream, but the guys who did Max Payne and shit. They did a TV show in like was it not The Division, but something else? But they did a TV show and a game, and it was gonna.
It was like an MMO type thing. Defiance.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it was. It was a sci-fi series, wasn't it? Defiance.
Yeah, I remember.
But I don't think they ever carried it off. I'm talking like press your buttons now, general public. That'd be dead easy for them to work out.
Nice.
Or a bog standard psychedelic shooter. Great. Either of those will do.
Cool. Next question. Should we move on? Okay. I'll go with the next one. So this next question is from King Richard D. Hussey. I mean, that's excellent. He actually asks quite a potent question. What is the airspeed velocity of Unladen Swallow?
It's a really simple 26,275 DeVitos per hour. I mean,
next question.
If you want it in metric, it's 26,097 PFs per hour. Edith PF, the unit there, and or 19,909 Abbots per hour.
I love it.
There you go. Perfect.
I want to spend a day in Joe's brain, just finding out how many times he looks at something and goes and it equates it to Abbots or prime numbers or prime colours.
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be like that science gif with just formulas flowing round everywhere.
With his favourite prime numbers floating around him.
With Time Hound there, maybe, or maybe not.
Okay, next one is from Brian Riley. He says, we know that Matt fosters dogs. What other pets do you guys have? Obligatory you people in your post of the pictures I'm on online afterwards. Dave, do you got any pets?
I've always had cats in the past. We haven't now because we live like next to a main road. But we have like sort of fostered. There's been quite a few stray cats that we've kind of took in, and our neighbour's cat basically used to live in here. But I just get too sad when something happens to them. I don't know, but I think we'll probably end up getting a dog next year. To be honest, yeah. But I haven't got any at the moment.
Joe?
So in a sort of attempt to avoid the heartbreak of the death of a pet, we've got the longest living pet we could possibly have. We've got a tortoise, haven't we? We've got little Grogu.
Oh, of course, yeah.
He's an absolute legend. He's great. But yeah, we've got to have to find someone to look after him when we die, but we'll leave that for now.
How old is the guy?
Donate him to Blue Peter. They love him.
But he's what I find really weird. I didn't really want a tortoise, but there's someone at work had 15 tortoises because their tortoises had got jiggy, and it's just great little fun. Just wanders about, doesn't cause any bother, eats his leaves.
Sounds perfect.
Got his own little character. He's great. I'll put some pictures up of the tortoise.
Do they live on the ground?
No, they fly.
No, the chandelier.
All right, what are them
the
ones?
chandelier man
The flying
just
No,
made
yeah,
a
no.
nest.
Well, he lives in the living room at the moment because he's in it's basically what's an upturned bookcase, but it's not. It's basically an upturned bookcase with some soil in it and some little areas for him to
You've pushed
investigate.
over a bookcase, taken out the books, and put a tortoise in it. Is that what you're saying?
So, essentially, yeah.
Wow.
So I live my life.
You've got another one, a bigger one upstairs. You've done, and it's your bedroom. That's where you live in it. You sleep inside one of the.
He's got one of those giant African ones in the library.
What bookcases?
Yeah. Yes, I've got a dog coming up to 7 years old. It's a miniature schnauzer called Rose.
Rosie.
Bane of my fucking life. How many dogs have you got at the moment, Matt? Are you still on 2? Or have you got any more?
Just
extra?
the 2. No, just the 2. And I mean, Dave said it as well. I mean, like I had a family dog when I was a kid, and as we all know, nothing ever lasts forever, as Echo the Bunnyman said. But at some point, I am going to have to accept that when it comes to one of my dogs, and I'm perfectly honest to you, not looking forward to it. But I guess it's part of life.
Yeah, I've already tried to because we used to have dogs when we were kids. I grew up there was my 3 brothers and my sister. Mum and dad used to have dogs all the time, 2 or 3 dogs, and so I'm kind of used to knowing it. And I've been trying to tell my wife it's her first proper pet, and she absolutely loves Rosie to bits. Just it is her fur baby, even though it's not actually a baby anymore, kind of thing. And I'm trying to prepare her for the day of what's going to happen, and how just so she's got some realistic expectation, but she refused to believe it. She thinks it's going to live to its 200. It's not going to happen.
Is that why you've painted the dog's going to die on the door?
Yeah. Murder. Red rum Rosie.
Get her to watch Cujo. She won't mind so much after that.
Next question. Let's. I think we've got 2 more questions. I think 3, technically 3. I'm gonna paraphrase Ross Greaves' question because he starts actually arguing himself halfway through. For those that know Ross, that's usual. He's basically saying, you got video characters coming around for dinner. What would you cook them? 3-course meal. What would you cook them? David.
I'd try and cook them like one of those massive banquets that you if you
Poppadoms or bread?
Monster Hunter. Oh my god!
What the fuck was that? Was that Mr.
Do
Pipes?
that again.
Is that Mr. Pipes? He's come back.
Have you not? So that obviously fell flat. You never listened to the Off Menu podcast?
No.
No.
Right. Oh, shut up then.
You've probably You've made probably two people, maybe one person of the 10 that listens to us laugh with that. You never know. Go on, David. Carry on. Banquets.
All I was going to say is, if you've ever played a Monster Hunter game, then you'll know that you prepare a meal at the beginning of it, and they're accompanied by the most amazing cutscenes of all these cats preparing you a huge banquet of meal. So I would try and do a Monster Hunter pre-fight banquet meal.
Nice.
I think I would go prawn cocktail for starters.
Classic.
Yeah?
Classic.
I'm letting them know that I am in business. Some kind of chicken, some kind of maybe. What's the chicken with the barbecue sauce? Bit of that.
Hunter's chicken.
There you go, a bit of Hunter's chicken. Do you want to finish it off with? Bit of Sarah Lee Gatto.
Oh yeah, a classic.
You're spoiling them.
If Bayonetta is coming around here, I've got to pull it all out. I will stop, haven't I? Regardless of which voice actress it is.
The thing is, if you're doing prawn cocktail for a starter, you're letting her know that the taste of fish in her mouth is something you've got to get used to. I suppose, I don't know. Me personally, I think I I just do them a Christmas dinner. I just do them, just the standard Christmas dinner stuff, and just try and feed them as much Yorkshire pudding and roasted potatoes as possible, and then after 8 minutes till it comes out their eyes. Joe?
Mario walnut mushrooms, garlic mushrooms for starter, followed by a lovely drink of one of like the potions from Zelda. Get your juices sort of flowing. Main meal, one of those big stews, tomahawk steak and a stew from another Zelda meal there because they're quite nice. I think like desserts. There's maybe a little side dish. In the Pokemon games, you can make a curry. So a Pokemon curry, maybe with real Pokemon, one of those old ones that's slow cooked. So Vulpix curry. From a 20-year-old Pokemon. Desserts one I was struggling for. Like, where was I finding desserts within the games? The beer, so to wash it down, the beer in The Witcher looks pretty tasty and frosty. So we might have that as the drink. We might have to have skip the dessert. We'd probably be full by all of that anyway.
Likely. Cool. Excellent. Right, I'm just before we come on to the last person with the last question, I want to just give a quick shout out to 2 questions I should have probably asked and kind of mentioned previously. They were all along the. They were from both Paul Smythe and Mark Mahan regarding your anger issues with Golf with Friends, Dave. So I think we've covered that. They want to know whether you're seeking professional help, and the answer is probably no. You don't really need to. And Mark is asking, did you actually uninstall it? Or are you just basically pretending each week and then you reinstalled it because it happened so quickly? But
no, like I mentioned earlier, it's gone, and it's also now hidden from library. Do not show this game.
Gone. Okay, last question is from your best mate, Gavin McPherson. He's got 2 questions for us, and they've got a bit of legs on both of them potentially. The first one is, what new release has been the hardest for you to resist this year? So, I'm assuming, breaking that down, I mean, so far, since January, a game that you've not purchased, which has been the hardest for you to resist?
I've got a weird answer for this, because technically I bought Dying Light 2 last year, but it didn't come out. But the money had gone because I paid for a code, but it didn't come out till this year. So I've had this entire year Dying Light 2 sat in my library that I can't touch, but it's there. I'm looking at it. I could press one button and fail. But that's been really hard to resist. But the other answer is the Turtles beat 'em up, because I really just want to play a community night on it so bad before everyone's forgot it exists.
That's a good point, mate.
So that's good. That's mine.
Matt?
Well, we all know how I'm rolling this year. If there's something,
exactly.
if there's something, I'll buy it. As it happens,
he's going to buy it, and he doesn't really care.
As it happens,
Screw your rules.
Outside of my my Joker and my subscriptions, the only thing I've actually bought was that mini healer.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Joe, is anything you've been too hard for you to resist this year? What game would you have liked to have bought?
I think, to be honest, having so many to play has made it a lot easier, like having loads to do. I actually slightly regret not using my Joker when you all did and playing through Elden Ring, the 4 of us. I think that could have been great fun.
Yes.
And that might be my next purchase, I'm not sure. Recently, I think it was today, someone posted a game that I would have probably bought because it was about 80p, called A Bag of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk Inside a Bag of Milk, and a bag of milk outside a bag of milk outside a bag of milk. Just because it's so
Is that
weird.
like Everything All at Once, that fun movie about time travel?
I guess so.
Yeah.
But with milk.
I'd love how the fact that you physically resent paying somebody 79p for access in a Disney game, but you just because the name of the game you'd pay 80 pence.
He's not giving no money to that
fickle.
motherfucking mouse.
Yeah, exactly.
I do have Disney Plus subscription as well.
Oh dear. I think mine. I had a quick look through actually, and I think we've been quite lucky this year. There's not been any massive, huge games that I can't wait. Like obviously, God of War Ragnarok comes out today or whatever. I probably would have bought that, but that can wait. That's no problem at all. I probably would have bought COD as well. The game, your gift, Dave. I probably would have bought that because there's loads of kind of hype around that at the moment. I probably would have done that, but it can wait. I think for me, the one that I'm probably been the hardest to resist is actually the one that you've mentioned, Dave, funnily enough, is probably Dying Light 2, because I've played a lot of the first one. But yeah, obviously...
We had as well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of, especially because of the multiplayer elements and stuff, but... if you bought it last year and it's been waiting, mate, bloody hell.
Yeah, but it came out this year, so yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that you bought, paid the money last year. But it must have been a gripe going through your Steam library or whatever and just seeing it there, but not not being able to install it.
The one saving grace of that is, like I said, we finished off Borderlands 3, so on a Tuesday we just play co-op games. So we were kind of thinking, oh god, we've got like 7 weeks. What we're gonna play? We have got several things, and then thanks Halo Infinite, got the co-op mode yesterday. Bang! That's all sorted till next year.
Ooh, nice. I might download that again then.
Oh yeah.
Nice stuff. Right, very last question before we kind of have a rethink. Probably might have a quick toilet break or something. Another question from Gavin is, I suppose with all this in mind, what will be your first purchase once YOS is over?
Now, I'm a little bit worried. That come 1st of January, I'm not going to have you guys to answer to, particularly yourself, Mr. Cooper, and I'm going to walk around the corner and fall over and end up with direct debits coming out my arsehole for subscriptions that I don't need for dogs that I'll never meet, and become my own worst enemy again. So I guess that's my thing. I need to make sure that I continue to constantly hone and constantly evaluate what I'm spending shit on, be it gaming, be it real life and everything. That's where my headset's at. So fingers crossed I don't revert to old type next year.
So he's basically saying, Joe, that he wants a conversation with you once a month for you to
consultation fees.
Yeah.
I would love to keep having these conversations once a month, to be honest. We haven't managed it this year.
Shit, son, if I could sit down and open my banking app with you and just let you judge me for a couple of hours, I'll be a changed man.
Maybe that'll be my OnlyFans channel.
This is probably a good time for us to talk about, what's the
OnlyFans,
the future. Yeah, well, they've got to pay the electric somehow.
By flashing my balls. So yeah, I suppose in a way we've got new games in January, but we've also got to have to start now, guys, looking for who we're going to pass the torch on to next year.
A succession route.
Yeah.
Get ourselves out of this crazy game.
Yeah, I'm telling you this now. I'm not doing this again. I'll do a podcast with you guys. We could do something completely different, but I'm not restricting myself like this. So I think we need to either start approaching people, or the people need to start approaching us, I suppose.
There has to be someone out there listening now.
Not in a sordid way.
Somebody out there listening now who wants to save a few quid and have a chat with some great chums once a month, in air quotes.
When you can.
Yeah.
And don't buy games in air quotes.
Yeah. Or you could just do what Matt's done. You could just live your life like Matt. It's completely up to you. You just do a podcast.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth shouting out that I think by all accounts, everybody who's done this in the past, they have done it with people who they necessarily weren't busy mates with. We're lucky that we already have that relationship in place. So actually, it's quite fun for people going into this drive with people who they half know, because guess what? You spend a year recording podcasts with each other and going through a little bit of pain and fun at the same time, you're going to make some fantastic friends.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's very true.
Preach.
Very true. So I think we'll leave that out there. We'll do a reminder in the Facebook groups. We'll do it in both. Just judge it from there. Other than that, we'll just army volunteer people and just say, right, you, and you.
So while we're at it, Neale, if they do want to get in contact with us, where could they find us?
Okay, so I'll tell you what. I'll do the domestic, shall I?
Oh, go on then.
All right. So All right then. So usually we would have somebody spliced in here for blah blah blah. But as we've been talking throughout the podcast, October's been quite a busy month for all of us with real life stuff. So we won't have somebody to kind of spill this for us, but we will get a couple more blah blah blahs episodes in before the year is out. But in the meantime, I mean, you're listening to us now, so keep listening to us in the podcast service that you're listening to. Don't change. They're all there. But if you do want to tell people about us, tell us to search for us via just looking for the Year of Shame Challenge. We are on Spotify under the Year of Shame Challenge. There's a link here for YouTube, but I'm not going to read out the forward slashes and etc. etc. I think we've got did we get an update on that, Dave? Did we get a new?
There we go.
A new little funky URL. So actually, if it just suits your needs better, you can look for the podcast the monthly recordings on youtube.com/@MLGYOS. There you go. Obviously, we do have a Facebook group as well. And that's Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/Year of Shame. Even though Matt just admitted that he doesn't post on there, it is quite an active site. It is quite good. Not only do we have kind of like little bit debates every now and again, but people do like to go on there and give us a little bit of burn of bits and bobs that's going on. There is as well an email address. So if you do want to get in contact with us, you do want to put yourself forward. Or you want to ask some questions, technical questions about how do I even podcast? What do I need? What don't I need? You can get us on our email address, which is the year of. In fact, no, sorry, I'll do that again. It's just yearofshame@gmail.com.
And if I was you, I would start that email. Hey, Stu.
Yeah.
Hey, Stuart. Hey, Stuart. Check you out. How do I podcast? And I think it's quite obviously we're kind of a sister kind of splinter group of obviously Midlife Gamers. So there is the Midlife Gamer Facebook group that is extremely popular and still going strong. And we do have a really good Discord group as well. So search for MLG in Discord. You will find us. Dave is a very good and active moderator on Discord. Love his work. That's the domestics, guys. Done. Not done very well, but done.
Done.
Ta-da.
Great job.
No problem.
I'll tell you what, I did host it. I may as well end it after Neale's done all the hard work.
Yeah, well, that's all right, mate. Go for it.
Well, thank you, the three of you, Neale, Dave, Joe. Always appreciate getting some time with you. I'm sure that this podcast will not be up before we might have some shenanigans. So another good reason to be part of all them socials is the few times shenanigans happen, believe me, there may be few, but goddamn are they shenanigal. You'll hear about it first. So shenanigans coming. The year's coming to a close. By all accounts, I read something that said 60 days. Is that true as of today? 60 days for the end of the year, Dave?
It's less than that now.
It is. It's much less than that. It's about 50.
I know.
52.
I know that the joke is as soon as Bonfire Night's done, it's Christmas. But you can really kiss my ass when I guarantee on the 7th of November I see my first Christmas advert. I've got two more months of this bullshit. I've got birthdays before Christmas, people. Give me a chance.
My wife works in retail, mate. I've seen all the competitive retail adverts multiple times. It's a nightmare.
God damn you people. Right, let's get around the room. Joe, thank you very much for your time. I love you. Good night.
Thank you very much. I love you all too. It's 52 days. I can't convert that into abbots. I think we only measure time in days. It's 37 weekdays left of the year, and I will love you for each and every one of them.
Damn it.
That's sweet.
Damn it. Right, no pressure, Dave.
The weekend belongs to his wife.
No pressure, Dave, but love you. Big fan of yours.
Well, thank you. And everyone, just be mathematical.
Yes, David.
Whatever you do, be prime about it, be it colours or numbers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Neale Jarrett, who is going greyest in his beard better than anybody else because his beard is so dark. He's got that little bit of wisp. I'm a huge fan of it. That grey's going to keep on moving. You're going to get the wings. You'll be like poorly out of.
Yeah, well, have you seen the grey bits I've got at the front? It's like they look intentional in front of my hair. They're not. It's really not.
It's that sort of
and also
rogue
my
look
beard
from X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. It kind of looks like I've missed my mouth with a pint of Guinness. Like I've just aimed too further down, isn't it? Like I've just completely missed my lips and just kind of...
Are you just drinking milk through your jaw?
Yeah, I'm sucking it in through my actual, my beard hair. No, thank you very much for having me. I love coming on this podcast. I love being part of what we do. And I love speaking to you guys. And yeah, let's get some more shenanigans in as soon as possible. Thank you for hosting, Matt. Appreciate it.
It's quite okay. I'm pretty sure last time we said, it'll be a cheeky hour and change. Here we are, 2.5 hours later. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you listeners, boys and girls. Stay safe, and we'll catch you later this year.
See you later.
Bye.
Ta-da.
One, two, three.
Completely in rhythm.
That actually looked like we're all trying to kill flies. Absolutely ridiculous.
I think you must. Did you miss Matt doing a little spin then?
I like
Yeah, it's just spinning around. I just know I saw it. I enjoyed it. It was great. God, it does feel like I say. I actually forgot what the bloody countdown is. It has been a long time, hasn't it, since we recorded anything? It feels ridiculous. Are we? Do we have an actual legitimate excuse? Yeah. Do we have a legitimate excuse why we didn't do anything in October? Did we just lazy?
It's too spooky. Just too spooky.
Yeah. Everybody's just scared. Yeah.
Pipes. Mr. Pipes got us.
Come on. Come on. Is this on the same...
Oh, this is a...
No, I don't know what Mr. Pipes is.
Raymond Tunstall. It's ridiculous that I know his name. Do you remember Ghostwatch in like the 90s?
Yes.
It was like that. Hit the ghost in Ghostwatch.
Oh, yes. Got it. I thought you were going to go down another Time Hound route.
No. Mr. Pipes is not a Time
Mr.
Hound.
Pipes.
Repeat, Mr. Pipes is not a Time Hound.
I was trying to think, what's the name of that guy who used to have the Indian spirit with him?
Derek Accorda.
Derek Accorda, that's it.
We will the spirits. Yeah. Sam is Indian spirit guy. Yeah. Sam.
I went to see him with my wife once, and I was like super skeptical, but at the same time I was like, "Don't fucking talk to me, I'm scared."
Is he? I don't know anything about him. Is he one of these comedian savants?
No, he was like
former Everton footballer.
Ghost Hunter. He was like a medium. He's dead now.
Talking to himself now, isn't he?